Good evening and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. I am your host, Kelly, and I wanted to introduce the panel. First, I wanted to welcome everyone to that's on the panel and thank you for everyone that's joining us and watching. I have Simply Indy here, and then I have Coach K and Sayeda. We will be having more people joining us soon, but I'm trying to be respectful of the holidays. I know everyone's preparing for their Thanksgiving. So this is going to be a quick, short show, and we're just going to have fun. And this is Thanksgiving edition. So stay tuned for the great conversation. I'm going to give the panelists a chance to introduce themselves, and then I'll hop right into the questions. So Simply Indy, if you'd like to go first, you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Indy. I'm 27 years old. I'm based here in Dallas. My cultural or ethnic background, my mom is Jewish. So her family is Middle Eastern. And then my dad is Haitian and Hispanic. So, yeah, that's a little bit about my cultural background.
Awesome. You got a bunch mixed in there. You got some. Okay, I'm writing this down so I don't forget. Coach K, you're more than welcome to go next.
Hello, I'm Katie. I'm 27 too. I'll just share my age. I'm in Ohio, and Cincinnati to be specific, and um, I'm pretty white. I think I've done my ancestry. I'm like 90%. I think like European. I've Irish, German, mostly. So yeah, that's about it.
That was funny. She's like, I'm pretty white, but even you can say that, but German, Irish, those are still different countries, different cultural perspectives. So, do you know any of your family, or do you just know from like doing the ancestry?
Oh yeah, well, my mom's maiden name is very Irish, so I do know that much, but we don't really practice like anything. Like we're not really tied to it that much. Like we're pretty just American, like generally, I guess. So
okay, that's awesome. But you still have your traditions here that we're gonna get into that a little
bit. Yeah.
Sayeda, I know you are a seasoned veteran on the show, but feel free to introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are, who doesn't know.
Sure. No problem. So my name is Sayeda. I was born, raised, and located in El Salvador. I'm 36. I speak English and Spanish. My English is still, getting to improve right there. So I'm also learning other languages, French and Italian. So I know some. Because I'm a tour guide, I own a business. So, it requires me to kind of like speak to people. And then I have a daughter. She's 10 years old.
So do you have people visiting from every country all around the world all the time?
Yeah, most of our tourists are Americans actually, but and most of them are surfers. We have a lot of surfers. Surfers are not my go-to because they come here for the waves. They don't come here, like they stay around the beach area and surf and that's it. They don't care about going anywhere else.
So they don't want to see the mountains and like the countryside.
Even if they do, they're very like rustic. So they like to struggle and go through the struggle and figure it out, So that's why mine is for people that, is willing to like get more information and help. And most of the surfers, since they stay around the area, they learn Spanish. So they don't need me.
They don't need you. But I will say it is much nicer to have a local that knows the area, because we just got back from vacation and we were kind of scared because there was this guy who's like, no, hop in the taxi, I'll take you around, I'll take you to the local spots. And we were like, do you think we'll make it back alive? Because he was just sitting there on the side and we were like, let's just try it, who cares? And it was so much, he was giving us so much information. We learned about the island, we learned about the people, like how they make their money, and he brought us to a better beach. And I was just like, wow, I'm so glad we had this experience, but we would have never known if we would have just stayed on the resort. You know what I mean? So I would definitely come.
We have a lot of tourists that come and stay at our resorts and they're like, oh, I traveled to El Salvador, but they stay in the resort the entire time. And I'm like,
you don't really learn the country.
Exactly. And that's how I met a group of girls. Actually, I had 2 girls with me and I dropped them off at the hotel. And there were 6 other girls that they were there. And they're like 2 days just spending the time in the resort. And I invited them to the nightlife, beach area. And they're like, really? And I'm like, I'm getting the transportation and everything in less than 30 minutes. So just go get ready. And, like they went and they're like, oh my God, the next day they book a tour with me just because they were like, no, this is how they usually don't get tour guides, where they go, but they were able to tell the difference. And they actually explained that to me the same way that you just mentioned. They did say that too.
Yes.
It's good.
So it's definitely worth it. So if you guys are watching and you go to El Salvador, you need to book Sayeda. What is the name of your company? Is it?
It's Salvi Tours. SALV. It's Victor I.
Salvi
Tours.
If you are visiting El Salvador, book Salvi Tours. And Sayeda's the boss, by the way.
I just recently separated from my personal. I just decided to put it on the side. Usually your friends are not the ones that will encourage you or support you. So that's why, I'm just going to separate this. And no one of my friends, I actually don't say I own a business or none of that. I'm the tour guide. I do everything.
That's lame though. I feel like your friends should be the ones supporting you. Like, send this out to everyone. Let them know.
It happens. Eventually, they will support you once you're up there.
Once you're successful. I know her. Like, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we got to introduce. I wanted to jump right into the questions, if that's okay. I know this is the week of a big holiday for Americans. So I kind of wanted to talk about different holidays because we celebrate Thanksgiving here, but not every people group celebrates Thanksgiving. So I kind of wanted to know what are some holidays that are specific to your culture? If it's not Thanksgiving, what do you celebrate around this time? Or do you celebrate Thanksgiving?
Do we have a specific order that you wanted us to go in, or?
Eeny, meeny, miny. You can go, Indy.
So yeah, me and my mom were just talking about this. We do celebrate Thanksgiving and stuff like that, of course, because we are American. But in the Jewish culture, we round out Yom Kippur, which is like the Jewish New Year. We round it out with a holiday called Sukkot, which is basically like a celebration of the ending of the slaves' journey post like being freed from Egypt. So
what was it called again? Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna write that down. It's Yom Kippur, and
so Yom Kippur lasts for about 25 hours, and you fast for the 25 hours for Yom Kippur, and you like throw bread into the river. You can do that, or you can do like a burning, which is basically like you releasing all of the negativity going into like the new year. And so you fast during that time as well. Then for 8 days, they celebrate Sukkot, which is the holiday where you're breaking your fast and celebrating like having a home and a covering. Because that was the time when the Jews ended and found the land of milk and honey. And
okay, so like when they left Egypt, like Moses?
Mm-hmm. So they wandered in the desert for like years.
40. Was it?
Yeah.
Is it 40?
Stubborn, and they weren't listening to God. So they, yeah. So
I just learned all of this because I'm like actually diving into my faith more. So I just learned all of this. So yeah.
They did that.
Were they like complaining or something?
Yeah, so they were supposed to be singing. That's where the Book of Psalms comes from. Is they were supposed to be joyous and celebrating their freedom and being led to the land of milk and honey and things like that. And they forgot God's promises and started to just kind of like, as humans, as we do our own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You actually go under a covering for 8 days. So for 8 days, you eat in there. Some people literally sleep in there.
What do you mean covering? Like
so it's actually like it's a sukkah is what it's called, and it's like a building. Like outside of our temple growing up, after we would round out Yom Kippur, you could see them, and they build like it's an actual like building with like 2x4s and stuff like that, and they cover it with like palm leaves, and there's like tables inside of it and everything like that, and people bring food and you eat in there, and you guys just come together and celebrate breaking the fast. If you go to an Orthodox synagogue, you do that for 8 days. But if you go to like a non-traditional synagogue, you'll only do it probably like 1 day, which would be the Saturday or the day.
So can you like leave and go home and sleep and take a shower and then come back, or do you stay there straight for 8 days?
Orthodox people do that. Like we don't like go and um do. So my mom's I guess like her faith as far as Judaism goes is she's unorthodox. So like it's more like Chabad, which is like spiritual, and they focus on the mitzvahs and like doing the good stuff and the good work that God wants you to do. And so like we don't do like staying out there for 8 days. But I do know, like, when I was in the military, we had a chaplain, and Yom Kippur happened while we were out in the field, and he literally got like a tent and made his own.
Oh,
He made his own sukkah and stayed in it for the whole 8 days.
so he's like hardcore, like.
Yeah, so like he's Orthodox, so like that's very traditional, like super like hardcore. And then the same thing with like the fast leading up to Yom Kippur. Like a lot of people still drink water, but they just won't consume like food, or like you're not supposed to do anything for those 20. Like you're not supposed to have sex, you're not supposed to work out, you're not supposed to work, you're not supposed to eat, you're not even supposed to drink water for the 25 hours.
So is it kind of like how Ramadan, like when they do their, like the Muslims, they can't drink, eat anything for like from sun up to sundown or something?
That's exactly how it is, from sun up to sundown. So
Okay.
that's
Fee was supposed to come on, and she's Muslim, so
we have a lot of similarities in our cultures. That I actually have had conversations with some people who are Muslim, and I've found that out. Like halal meat is very similar to like kosher
like
meat.
kosher.
Yes,
Mhm.
like they pray, like they have a rabbi come pray for the animal, and it's a very peaceful like slaughter and things like that. But
They
yeah,
talked about that once on the show. They were telling us like how they kill the animal.
it's really a peaceful process for the animal. Like you're honoring, kind of similar to like Native Americans and things too. Like you don't want to make the animal's death be in vain. Like you're honoring the animal still, even though you're, taking it for consumption.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a respectful, peaceful. And I know they because my ex was Muslim, and I know he had to choose a lamb, and he had to slaughter it when his son died, and it was like I had to watch that. That was hard. But I was like, how do you choose which one you're gonna kill? Like he's like, that one. But apparently there's this spiritual connection, and they feel it and they choose it, and then they have to like calm it. I have it on recording.
What holiday, or not holiday necessarily, but was it the Day of Atonement? Was it all atonements or just the Day of Atonement? Or like when the priest or rabbi would go, would they choose their best animal? Is that how it was?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I forget.
You're supposed to pick the
best animal.
It's kind of like Cain and Abel. Like you're supposed to bring your best to God. So anytime you offer a sacrifice, you're supposed to bring your best ram, your best lamb, whatever you're gonna sacrifice. But
so you can't bring like the little sickly one. Like, oh yeah, that's not gonna sell.
No, that's not. Yeah,
probably easier, but but yeah.
But
that's
like
so that one.
We're unorthodox, so that's like a very orthodox thing. So we don't go as far as that, because like even in orthodox things, like before a woman would be able to enter the sukkah, she would have to like wear the covering on, like the white veil on her head, and then the men would wear which they'll do wear kippahs and stuff like that, but they just only wear it on the day of. They're not like wearing it all the time like they normally would.
So interesting.
I really think it's interesting. I'm glad that you, because I didn't know you were Jewish, and it's really, you think you know certain things, but it's nice to hear like what's actually going on.
Yeah,
like, what you actually celebrate. Coach K, what about you? Is it Thanksgiving for you?
Yep, we celebrate Thanksgiving. We don't really do anything specific besides like just the traditional, I guess, American stuff. Not even a big fan of turkey, to be honest.
No, I was gonna say, describe like how Thanksgiving usually goes.
So, I mean, we will do turkey. I know some people do ham, but like that's kind of weird I think for people to do ham. But like not like I'm not judging, but I'm saying that's how like we do it. And then we my grandma, which she's just like a staple in our holidays because she's such a good cook, but she makes so some people call it stuffing, but and I finally figured out, well, I forget now, but she calls it dressing. And I'm gonna have
Yes.
to okay, what's the difference again? Do you guys know?
Cornbread is in dressing, and then
Okay.
stuffing is just like bread, like actual.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like terrible.
Better.
I
More
love
flavorful.
dressing. Yes.
Yeah.
I just know it's not good, but I love carbs, so of course. So that's like a must. But other than that, it's just yeah, and then just a bunch of sides and things like that. We never really did until this year, green bean casserole. We didn't really do that. But we're doing it this year. And then cranberry sauce. Grandma's bringing it, but she's the only one that eats it. So, and then pumpkin pie, of course, and
Now, does the whole family get together? Because you're married, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, engaged, but pretty much at this point.
Like
So
almost right around the corner.
right. So he is from 2 hours away, so he moved down here to be with me. So we're going to see, my family. It always is just determined or dependent on people's availability. So we were going to go down to Tennessee to see his family, but now it's like work, conflicts with that. And then I don't really see my mom's side, so it's strictly my dad's side where we're really close. And I have a twin sister. Well, I have two sisters, but my twin sister has a 7-year-old.
You're a twin?
Yeah, identical twin. So
did you ever switch places? I always ask twins.
I know. We always get that. We really didn't. I think we tried in like kindergarten, but we followed rules. We didn't really do that stuff.
You were the good twins. Okay, the good stuff.
I know. Nothing really fun. So yeah, I could go on about I love being a twin though. But yeah. So
awesome.
we're really close with my dad's side, and then I think that's pretty much it. It just depends. Like we're doing it on Friday because my twin is a nurse and then her husband is a cop, so they have to work,
Yeah.
So that's about it for us. It's kind of weird, but we're,
So everybody is going to come together on your side. Like all your siblings, mom and dad, and then your fiance will be with you.
Yeah, it will, and it's really just my dad, and it's weird getting older. Because now it's like not really my aunts and uncles anymore. It's now going to be like our families, and then my dad instead of like, and my grandma, but my dad is now, papa. So it's like, it's so weird that I'm like at that stage now. You guys probably know what I mean. But I forget, like, we don't really go to my mom's side, and my mom and dad aren't together, but I have a stepmom, so she'll be there. And then my older sister's in Chicago, so I don't think she's coming down. So it's like all over the place, whoever can like make it will come, and that's it, So,
and I have found that people don't really like travel as much anymore. I feel like that was like the big holiday where everyone would like, Thanksgiving, we have to be there with the family. Right. And now it's just like, okay, well, maybe I'll FaceTime you from here versus like we have to make the trip to be there for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's like because it's in the work week, like my fiance can't get off work on Friday. So, that's why we're not going down to Tennessee anymore. Yeah. So it's like just trying to balance it all, and then if we see people, we see people, but trying to make an effort too. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Welcome, Ines. Thank you for popping on. England. Ines is in England, guys. So what time is it there?
It's 12:45. I mean 12:45.
Thank you so much for joining and staying up late to be on the show. I'm gonna let Sayeda go next, and then we'll ask you the question if that's okay.
Okay. Did I miss the question? I missed something already?
Yes. So the question is, not every people group celebrates Thanksgiving, and I'm curious because I know Thanksgiving is an American holiday, so not everyone in every country celebrates it. So we were talking about the different holidays and traditions that other people groups have, and if you celebrate Thanksgiving, you could talk about that. Which was Coach K was just going over that. But Sayeda, What about El Salvador?
Yeah, I was listening because we don't have none of the things that both of Indy and Coach K mentioned. Like we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. However, we're closer to the U.S., so in a certain way, some people we call them Americanized because they started to celebrate Halloween, which we don't do that, and we don't celebrate none of those things. So
So on
I would
Thursday,
say
you do nothing. You don't do anything this Thursday.
no, that don't mean nothing to us. It doesn't mean anything. Don't get me wrong, because you hear it from other people, it
Mhm.
gets you to investigate and to know what their real meaning is. So it's like you decide if you want to celebrate it or not. Just the word Thanksgiving sounds beautiful to say. Always, it means giving thanks to whoever or whatever you believe. Now I have to say with my family, it's kind of weird because we usually do a gathering on the last weekend of November, and we
Okay.
go to our beach house. We go to a beach house, and everybody just joins. We do the entire weekend there. So some people, actually, my sister is traveling this week,
So,
to do
but that
that.
has nothing to do with the holiday. That's just
It has
something
nothing to
your
do with the holiday. It just
family-
happened to be on that. But my family is really, really attached. Like we always been like that. My grandfather was like, "You have to be here. Hey, you didn't come to visit. Are you?" He will literally say, "You throw dirt on me already." Like when you bury someone and you do that. So
Mhm.
he will literally say that that's what we're doing to him if we didn't go visit him over the weekend. So we go to
You
my
have
grandparents'
to.
house
Yeah.
every weekend. If it's not Saturday, it's Sunday, but we have to go. And sometimes not everybody might be able to go, but my dad will go and then everybody goes the next weekend and so on. So we take turns, but my dad, mandatory, he has to go.
Do you have any holiday? Like I know you celebrate Christmas.
Yes.
That's a around the world tradition. Do you have any specific holidays to El Salvador? Like
Mother's
Independence
Day. We celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day like big. That's the biggest celebrations, and Christmas. And then we get together for like birthdays.
Mhm.
But other than that, we don't have any other celebrations like that. No.
Okay.
What
So
what about
ahead.
the holiday? And I'm not sorry. I'm not sure if it's, and I should know this because I did a speech one time on Halloween. But does your culture celebrate? Is it what's that?
Cinco de Mayo?
Dia de la Muerte? Dia
Yes.
de la Muerte.
Oh yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
No.
Mhm.
That's
No.
Mexicans.
Okay.
That's the Day of the
Okay.
Dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost said that, but I thought I was wrong.
We have the day off as a holiday. So it's Dia de los Muertos. So it's like Memorial's Day. That's what it is to us. But we don't celebrate like Mexicans do. They do a whole parade and everything. What we do is we just go to the cemetery and just drop off some flowers or whatever and just visit. That's it.
Is that also like a custom that people, they kind of just check a box, like, but they have to do it? Like it's almost like frowned upon if you don't do it?
No, like some people just do it that day because they have that day off. But in reality, for us, I don't want to do it just in one day. I want to go to my grandpa's whatever he's at. I want to go whenever I want to. Like if I feel like connecting with my grandpa again, I want to do it whenever I want to. I don't have to wait until that date to go. The same as with Valentine's. You don't have to wait until Valentine's to give roses when you can do it at any day. So that's why I personally, or I don't know, it's probably just my family and not everybody, because I see other people celebrating Valentine's. I see people celebrating Thanksgiving, and I'm like, you're not American, you're Salvadorian, So yeah.
But wait a minute.
But it's
Valentine's
a reason
Day
thing.
is not a thing in El Salvador.
No, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, I see them celebrating that. I personally, even in the relationships that I've been, to me, it's not a big deal.
That is
The restaurants are crowded. Hold on. The restaurants are crowded. There's a lot of traffic. I don't want you to give me roses just because it's a holiday. Please don't do that. Like, no, it's probably me.
I want roses. If you forget about me on Valentine's Day, you might as well break up with me.
Hey, I got roses last week. I got roses last week, and it wasn't Valentine's. That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it cannot be forced.
Oh, do tell, Sayeda. You got roses.
And just because, and that's how it's supposed. Well, that's the way I see it. It's just because. But my grandpa used to do those things, like he cut the roses from his garden and brought them into my grandma, put it in a jar, put it in the middle of the table, and he was like, he called her and be like, "Here you have for you," and she's like, "Oh, beautiful," It's awesome. Things that he planted, he grew it, and he cut it, and he brought it to her. Like, it was an effort there. And he would do it whenever he wanted to. But going back to the holidays, I wouldn't say we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but each family kind of does whatever. And nowadays, younger generations, since they have their own families, just like Kay say, like now they're married, probably with younger kids, they want to do their own or start their own traditions. So they start implementing or following other traditions like that. Just that.
That is very interesting. Thank you for sharing, because I didn't know. I'm curious, and it's what's going on in England right now?
No, not much. It's you have things are slowly being influenced over here. So you have some people that take time out and they will at least go to the supermarket and buy the dinner and stuff, and go to a restaurant and have the dinner. You have quite a few American people who live over here as well too. So, so they try to accommodate those folks that live over here. So, but I grew up in Bermuda, so Bermuda is very Americanized. So they celebrate Thanksgiving. My sister's from the States. I got to spend Thanksgiving with them in the U.S. a few times. So pretty familiar with it. It is what it is. It's just like, it's more or less a day to eat more than anything. So that's about it.
Yeah, that's the truth. I only know where I've grown up, and I still live exactly here in Cincinnati. But we had, like, at my grade school, they would do a football game every Thanksgiving Day. They called it the Turkey Bowl. So that was like a tradition. But then when the school closed, then that went bye-bye. And then I know in Cincinnati, was there a marathon? Maybe not. Yeah, there's this thing called the Turkey Trot. So some people would do that. In the newspaper, like if you, I'm just like laughing thinking about these now. Like they would, does anyone even get the newspaper anymore? You would color a turkey, and then if you sent it in, and you would make, the paper. And there was actually some really impressive ones. So that was something that people did in Cincinnati too. So, but yeah, all you do is pretty much eat. It's a good characterization for sure. What about you, Kelly?
Me? I was gonna say, I want to go. Can I go?
Yeah.
So my Thanksgiving is a huge holiday. I am Black American, so we have the soul food. That's gonna be our tradition. And my father usually would make the turkey. This is going to get me maybe a little sentimental because we lost him last year. He died last October. So the year before was the first time I ever made the turkey. And I was like, Dad, I want to do it this year. Just give me the recipe and walk me through how to do it. So I made the turkey the year prior to him passing. And then he died the next year. And everyone was like, hi, V, welcome.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought it was Central Time. I'm in Eastern Time. I know. I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that. We were going over. I was gonna go over my boring American tradition. So if you want to chime in, we were going over. The question is, not every people group celebrates Thanksgiving. What are some holidays specific to your culture? If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, if you do, you can talk about that and what your traditions usually are with your family. Sure. I love your hair, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I washed it.
I feel like you switch it up every week. It's something different. Every time I see you on a show, you got a different style.
It's my thing. It's been like that since like middle school. Since I knew how to do hair, I'm like, might as well do it on myself. But
I love it. You had to keep them guessing.
Yeah. So it's funny because I grew up as Islam, like in Islam. So we celebrated, Eid, and we didn't really celebrate like the Christian holidays. So like, yes, there was Thanksgiving. We have Family Day in Canada, but we didn't really do it like the Christian way, or we just would be like, okay, let's just get together as a family. We'll cook a dinner, right? But it wouldn't be like we sit down and we give thanks. But when I got married, I married a Christian man, so it was like a switch. So I mean, it was the same values, but a different type of tradition. So yeah, so we celebrated in a way like we would cook together. We would have our friends over, and then we'll say a prayer, and then we'll continue with the food. But it was similarities in regards to feasting, but that's how we celebrated it when it came to Thanksgiving.
I'm glad you came on because Indy is Jewish, so she was explaining her traditions, and she was saying there was a lot of similarities to the way you guys did Ramadan. So that's what I was like, Fee was supposed to be on so she could explain.
Yes. So Ramadan, we fast. We eat in the night. So it's like, I don't know how, sometimes I can't keep up. To be honest with you, I'm not religious in that aspect, but my sisters are, like, they wear hijabs, right? But they chose on. My parents don't, they're not religious, but sisters just fell in that religion aspect in the group. But we like, I don't know, I'm not familiar with the Jewish I think, is it Lent? No, it's not Lent. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it was very interesting. We were all like, wait, what is that called? We're writing it down.
Lent is Christian, but
Yom Kippur and then Rosh Hashanah, you do the same kind of things. So like as far as like fasting, and then having like a big celebration at the end of it to break the fast.
Yes. For us, I think it was the Eid moon. So like the moon has to be like crescent, the crescent moon. That's when we eat. So it's very, I guess it's astronomical, right? We really relate to how it works in that aspect. But it's very interesting because we would eat when the sun goes, like right before the sun goes down. Sun comes up, and then we won't eat until the sun goes down. So, I mean, it's very interesting and scientific.
Sorry about that. So can I chime in on this? Because I was telling my version of Thanksgiving. My ex-fiance, he was actually Muslim. So when we got engaged, they didn't celebrate holidays. So he was like, oh no, like you can't put up a tree. No, you can't. We don't do Thanksgiving. But my family was very Christian and we did all that stuff. So I invited him to our Thanksgiving, but because he was Muslim, they never had turkey because it had to be halal turkey. So I was like, okay, where can I go get a halal turkey? And he's like, well, there's like a butcher shop. So I had to go get like a live turkey, and they had to kill it and pluck it. And it was this whole big process. Yes, so I could cook this halal turkey.
They're like, oh, you wanted to celebrate? Here you have your turkey.
It was so much work, but that was the year that I made the turkey, and I was like, Dad, can I make the turkey so he could have it too? So my dad gave me the recipe. He walked me through it. So the very next year we lost him. He died last October, but because I learned the year before, I was able to make the turkey, and I was like, it was really, everybody was like, oh my God, you made it just like Dad. I was like, thank God.
Oh, that is like the ultimate compliment, I bet.
It was, and everybody, I don't know, it was a very emotional Thanksgiving because he died in October and Thanksgiving was like a couple weeks later. And we're like Saida, like our family is so close knit. Everyone always comes over. Like, I don't care where you are. We're traveling for Thanksgiving to be with the family. So, and what you were saying, Coach K, is it is different when you get older because it's like you had your immediate family, your brothers and sisters, mom and dad, and now you have your own separate families. So that's why I was curious, like, where do you decide, like, once you start getting married and having significant others, does everyone just all join together? Or you're like, okay, this year we're going to go to your families. This year we're going to go to mine. Like, how do you decide that?
at least in my family, we try to be fair. I mean, like one of my uncles, he would go to his wife's side because they live in northern Ohio, and then we would just know like, oh, it's aunt, it's her
Their
year.
turn.
Yeah, and like we also kind of base our like gathering too around like my twin, she isn't with my niece. It's just like so confusing to like try to explain. She's not with my niece's father. So like also if my sister doesn't have my niece, which is always like we're kind of bummed, but we'll like also plan it around that. But then she also has to go to her husband's family. So it's just like it's just a mess. But that is, which I think is kind of interesting with this topic, is as some, families aren't as traditional, I guess, at least in the American sense,
Mhm.
it's going to look different now, and it's just a little more complicated, just have to be a little more strategic. But yeah, we try to just spend time we try to make it fair, but also just depends.
So like you said, this year you're doing it on a Friday to make sure you can accommodate like everyone. Everybody can give.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. My husband's gonna have to be like, sorry, we're going to your family every year because I'm not gonna be without my family.
That's something that happens here. That's something that happens here because it depends on like, families are different. Even we're all Salvadorians, still like families traditions is different. For example, my sister's husband, they decided to do Christmas with my family, my sister's family, and on by the end of the year or New Year, she has to go to his family. So that's the arrangement they have. And it's usually like that. That's what's going to happen, that you decide which family goes. The family that celebrates Christmas bigger, you go to that family. And then whoever does New Year's, then you're going to go there.
Is it ever a fight? I wonder, like, no, I want to go see my, like, we're just going to go separately because.
You know what? It depends on how you look at it, because the way I see it is like the person whoever, gets to be with me has to understand that my family is very attached, right? And I want to be with my family on Christmas. I want that. I don't care about New Year's. So I'll give you New Year's, but my family, but my dad, my grandma go to bed early. So all I have to do, honestly, is just have dinner with them, just spend some hours with them, help them cook. By 12, we're done. And then if you want to go and party, I think party can wait. I look at it that way because some people, it's about drinking, but my family, they don't drink. So
they just want to see you and spend.
They just want to stay together. For us, it's more like just the union, just like the gathering, just having the family together. So once it's 12, like you guys can go. So we can go. And if you want to go somewhere else after 12, you can. And the same thing happens for New Year's. But again, some people decided to just, go to their families just to, hug them, Happy New Year's, and then we head out to, whatever they want to do.
B, did you raise your hand? I thought I saw.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, okay. Thanksgiving is a term I learned when I came to Canada, because I came here like 21 years ago, right? And back home, we don't have Thanksgiving. So I was wondering like what it was about. And when
you're Bangladesh, right? I know you didn't get a chance to.
Yeah. So when I came here, like I didn't know what it was. I was very unfamiliar, didn't really know what the tradition was until I started going to other friends, like my friend's house. They were inviting me over. And when I started looking it up, because Thanksgiving up here, it was kind of like it's looked at. I think there's two groups: people who look at it in a way that's like celebratory and you come as like a family, and there's people who look at it as especially Indigenous people. I have a lot of Indigenous friends, Native friends, who don't celebrate it at all. They're like, they remind you of what is Thanksgiving, what it originated from. So that's why I was like, I was in the like a cusp of like celebrating it. Do I celebrate it? And like, or do I not celebrate it and stay with my friends? Like, you know what? Like there's two different types of friends. Like who do I go with? Right. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just stay my ass home. I will cook. I will order some food and I'll just stay my ass home today. But yeah, so there's like like there is a history behind Thanksgiving, and I love that. Like
you're more than welcome to get into it. I was going to, but I didn't know if that was going to be controversial. But
no, I mean we got to talk about it, right? Like we can't just like look at it in one side. We have to look at both sides, right? Because like there is, you know, yes, it brings people together, but Thanksgiving, if you it was when I think, don't quote me on this, but it was when the colonizers offered, like they threw a big party for the native, but they also kind of like that's when they gave them smallpox and all the diseases, and it was like Thanksgiving, quote unquote. But yeah, it wasn't really a positive event, I should say.
So,
which is interesting because my stepmom she has a lot of because I know some people say, you know, they have some Native American in them, but my stepmom has a lot, but they don't mind, you know, Thanksgiving, I guess. So I guess even for some, it probably maybe it's how like maybe close you are and connected to, you know, that the culture.
So I think it's funny. I think it's funny. If we're gonna talk about it, we can do it. I was just talking about this morning because when you're a child, you know, you have half the class dress up as like the Pilgrims, half the class dress up as like the Indians, and you're like, let's come together and have Thanksgiving, and everybody has a turkey. But it's so cute until you realize like what actually happened, like the real story, which was, yes, like the Pilgrims were people from the European countries that came over and they discovered America. But the first year they were here, they didn't know how to farm the land. They didn't know how to hunt for food. So they were going to die. They were dying. And the reason they survived, like I remember my history teacher got into how they were building forts and they started boiling their shoes and their belts because they were made out of leather. And that's what they were eating because they didn't know how to harvest the land yet. And it was winter. So the Native Americans pretty much came and they shared their food with them, and they brought like the corn and the turkey, and that's what they ate through that first winter that helped them survive. And in turn, you know, what happened with the Native Americans?
They genocided.
They were genocide. They were given smallpox. They were murdered. Their land was stolen from them. So it's almost like a slap in the face. Like, we made sure you guys didn't die the first year, and this is our thanks. So Thanksgiving, you know what I mean?
It's interesting because so my grandpa's mother grew up teaching English on an Indian reservation in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And so it was interesting to hear her talk about like alcoholism was introduced during Thanksgiving. Like they brought whiskey and alcohol, and that's how it kind of got introduced to these native people who had never experienced any kind of like outside of herbs and things like that, but no, like, you know,
right. They hadn't done that with
but to this day, some of those native people like still in Oklahoma on the reservation suffer from like alcoholism because of the like like the lineage.
Oh, honey, it's a thing in Canada, especially because we have a lot of, you know, natives and indigenous people, right? And I don't know if you guys saw the news, but they dug up graves, like hundreds of graves under reservation schools, like those I think it was
I heard about that, yeah.
But the schools where they stripped you from your culture, they found graves of little children. Okay, there was our prime minister. I'm sorry, I know this is Thanksgiving.
No.
It turned cold.
I know we were gonna go this route, but it's supposed to be an informative show.
We have to like give out knowledge. We have to, you know, shed light on this situation because it happened. We can't just, you know, put a blanket over it, because that's what happened. They buried the children under the school, and you know, the prime minister just recently like apologized for it, right? And it's true. In reservations, these same children who actually did survive are suffering from mental illness, suffering from alcoholism. They were stripped away from their parents, and they just were put in a reservation and said, you know what? Yeah, we're giving you a land, but in this land, there's no there's no water, no clean water, barely, like food is like expensive. That's like, it's crazy, right? So yeah, like, I mean, I think if you are like knowledgeable, and if you understand, if you inform yourself, well informed about the holiday, and then you celebrate it, but like, you know what, we're gonna celebrate it under a different circumstance, then yeah, like go ahead, right? But like people who don't, like, just say, oh, it's Thanksgiving, it's another holiday, let's just celebrate it, right? But like, see where the holiday is coming from, like where is it coming from, right?
Yeah, do your research. A lot of people don't know. Which is,
I actually will say and I think it's important to know anyway, but let's say someone doesn't know, because I'm even thinking of people who it's easy to like be I guess to think that our surroundings, that everywhere in wherever you are in the world, that it's like that. Like I'm thinking of even like Appalachia or whatever, like people, that people just don't have it the same. So I can't expect them to like, take it the same way. But at the same time, just because they may not know all the facts, it's possible that they're not saying, I'm celebrating Thanksgiving because I'm celebrating what happened that day. You know what I mean? Like, I would say I would give people the benefit of the doubt that they're not saying that when they're like, you know what I mean? Like if, for example, we'll probably get into this too. If I say, Merry Christmas to a Jewish person, I'm not saying F your, holiday. I'm more so saying that's what I celebrate, but whatever you celebrate, this is my opinion though, but I'm wishing you what I celebrate, but I don't know. But either way, I hope you have like, a wonderful day, a joyous holiday, whatever it is. Because if I knew they were Jewish, I'd be like, Happy Hanukkah, it's no disrespect because I want to honor whatever it is. You know what I mean?
And I think people, that's why they kind of got away from saying Merry Christmas. They were like, say Happy Holidays because you're being more inclusive. But I also think that people are way too sensitive, and yeah, you're not meaning it like that. Like, yeah, you don't have to say Happy Kwanzaa because you didn't know I was African. You know what I mean? It's okay. I get it. I know what you're saying, but I also do understand the importance of knowing where something comes from or where something began. I think having understanding is important as well. So I do think people should inform themselves, and like, they should know what happened. They should know what goes on. And I think the picture that's painted about it all being so beautiful and harmonious, yeah, sure, that's what you learn when you're a kid, but there's books you can read and there's information you can get to be informed. So I do see both sides of the coin there. Were you gonna say something, Fee?
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's true. I mean, I get it, but it's like it shows a level of like insensitivity, right? Because you're coming to someone. Let's say if I came to you, and I'm not religious by any chance. I just want to put it out there. I am spiritual. I believe in good vibes only, like, energy. I'm all of that. But I'm just saying, if I came to someone and says, "Oh, Eid Mubarak," right? And I know this person is obviously not, Muslim. And I mean, I've had someone said, "Oh, I don't celebrate that," right? Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so I do agree, Kelly, like happy holidays. I like that it's inclusive and we're trying to understand, like, hey, not everybody has the same belief system, but we can still come together and like still be like celebrating something great. And Thanksgiving is a great holiday because it brings family together. I mean, I think that's what it is. And yes, it has a dark root to it, but doesn't mean that we can't change the narrative. We can't change the story, right? We can literally like say, you know what? Yes, but let's kind of like bring some, like, we can pray over those people who were hurt, right? And like, it's just, we can bring light to anything. Whatever,
sure.
We can always bring light to it.
You know what I just thought of, and then sorry, Kelly, I'll let you go. The way that I see it is almost like if I'm in holding that is still true. The fact that there's a dark history, and also that no one's like celebrating that piece, obviously. But also too, like if I'm in if I'm in I can't roll my tongue. Sayada's country. I'm not gonna like expect them to if they don't celebrate Halloween to like wish me, well, we don't wish people have Halloween anyway, but you know what I mean? So it's like also too, like I'm not going to take necessarily offense to it because I know that they don't celebrate it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I always just want to, you know, be caring and welcoming to everyone. But at the same time, it's like, just because I don't say it, don't, you know, no harm. That's all. That's all.
But I mean, that's why we are having these conversations, because some people just don't know. So that's why I like to have these conversations. So like Sayeda, I didn't know that they didn't celebrate Halloween in El Salvador. I just found that out tonight. I didn't know about alcoholism within the Native Americans due to Thanksgiving. That's something I found out tonight. So that's why I love talking to people from different backgrounds, different cultures, because you find out things you just didn't know, and you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So Trigger Mike, welcome.
Hello,
Mike.
everyone.
Hi.
Trigger Mike.
Other shows. I have never been on a panel with you, so thank you for
Oh,
coming.
salute to everyone. JR sent me the link. I was just like, oh, is this right now? Oh, okay.
Yeah, please.
I just start following you on Facebook. I mean, YouTube, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You
Yeah,
feel free
thanks,
to
man.
introduce yourself. You're more than welcome. I know you were listening, right? You were watching.
Yeah, I was listening, and then kids got loud, so I had to come upstairs. So I took about a 20-minute chunk of time off. But yeah, I'm Trigger Mike. New to this YouTube thing, been around since like July, but I've listened to all of you on various panels. Love the conversations that and perspectives that you guys give. So just glad to be here. Salute to you all. Just here to get in on the convo a little bit, you know.
Was there something specifically you wanted to chime in on? Because I know that you were watching. Was there a?
No, I'll flow with the conversation. I do like what I've heard about the interesting things that go on in other countries. You know, I'm a Nigerian American, so my parents are from Nigeria. I'm the first one here, like, you know, born here. So what do you call them? Tether baby? Yeah, I'm a whole tether baby out here. So
Now, do your parents celebrate? Do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving now that you live here, or do you have a specific holiday that you celebrate in Nigeria?
yeah, we celebrate. We definitely don't celebrate the purpose of Thanksgiving in America. Like, I think I'm not going to speak for all immigrants, but when you do stuff in America, you're just glad to be off work, right? So,
Like it's holiday.
you know what I mean? People think we're celebrating 4th of July, like as a Nigerian family. We like, what? We off work. You're damn right, we're gonna throw some hot dogs on, make some jollof rice and food, like, you know what I'm saying? So we're just happy to be off work. We do celebrate Christmas though. So
Okay.
that's a big thing. People for some reason associate Christmas with America, but I'm not sure
No,
because
Santa Claus goes all around the world.
yeah. So it's just like we definitely celebrate Christmas in Nigeria. I've been there for that twice. So
Oh, that's awesome. So, but no Thanksgiving. Do you like if now that you're here, like on Thursday, is your family gonna do something?
oh yeah. So I'm actually married to a Black American woman. So her father's side her mother's side is like, I say Panamanian, but so weird. It's like they're Black, but so it's just like they all speak Spanish, but they're Black. So it's weird. So that side, I don't know. I got to do more research. But her father's side is from South Carolina, deep South.
Oh, you funny.
You know, yeah, all live on the
Yeah.
same street.
Like soul food. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they're here. They actually moved to Houston. Been a big blessing. So, you know, they're that kind of galvanizing family. Members were like, everybody come over to our house. I was like, hell yeah, because it was our house every year till they got here.
Now I know JR was telling me you teach how to work with your firearm.
Yeah, so that's my, like, I guess side hustle, but it's kind of becoming the main thing. So I'm a firearms entrepreneur actually. So I own a gun store and I teach in the Houston area. So
anybody needs a class,
I'm gonna have to come see you.
book Trigger Mike.
Are you on like T-Rex arms level? Man, he is a
T-Rex.
beast.
No,
Talk about practice.
So let me put it to you this way: shooting wise, absolutely. But as a, what do you call it, influencer? No.
No, not that.
No. I'm actually a competition shooter. So he really can't see me. He does tactical. He does all tactical.
I
shooting.
just found that out last week. It came on my YouTube that it was like USA Olympic rifle, and my fiance's in the military, and he's we'll talk outside this trigger mic because I can go on. But I was like, what? We have this. What do they even do? What's the sport? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
do we have to take it apart, put it together, shoot? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
he
I got
said like
classes.
air or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they do air rifle. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that. It's
Tactical
weird. It's weird. I like the real stuff. The stuff that you'll actually shoot if you're in a gunfight. So, but yeah, anybody needs anything dealing with firearms, I'm gonna have a lot of stuff coming. I'm taking a 3-month break. I've left my corporate job as of recently, so I'm going to be opening an applied behavioral analysis clinic next to my wife's speech clinic in February. So between now and that time, I'm going to be creating a firearms university of sorts for beginners. That's the one thing nobody likes in the gun industry. They don't like working with beginners. They want all high speed people that were in the military and know how to do that stuff. So I'm going to focus on the beginners. So you'll start to see stuff.
That's so
awesome.
important too, because it's very intimidating until you get that hands on with someone, and then it's like no problem. But
yeah, I think I found the formula. So, it's been a gift because I've taught at the community college level for a while. So learning how to put together curriculum and all that stuff. So I'm using that skill to apply it to firearms. So to help beginners understand the objectives and way to shoot. So yeah, get at me if y'all interested.
That is so interesting because Canada totally banned, like firearms totally banned.
So I'm on the range all Sunday. So I hold my classes on Sundays and my private lessons on Sundays. So I'm there for like 12 hours. All Canadians, like a few weekends in a row.
Really?
That's
all
crazy.
Canadians, like super hype.
Fly down.
And like dude, like looked at me like, this is what freedom feels like. Just start ripping the machine gun. Crazy.
No, seriously, it's the thing. I mean, I think guns. I mean, you should have guns. You got to protect yourself, right? It's the people with the guns
and women
and women. We gotta have guns. I'm sorry.
I was looking at my wicks, and for some reason, I was like, wow. I think for the last 6 months, 80% of my students have been women. So they make up the large chunk of new gun owners and people interested in getting like courses and training. So
yeah,
really excited.
I'm licensed to carry. I've taken the course, so I mean, I feel like yours would be way more intense and exciting.
Yeah, you'd qualify for like my advanced course. So it's not static shooting. We move in my advanced course. We're moving. So no more of that standing around. You're gonna
like rolling involved. Like it's roll.
Oh, not roll. Whoa. Okay, Navy SEAL. You can chill.
Because you can't do that anywhere. You know what
I
mean?
All right, John Wick, you gonna chill out. You talk about rolling with the gun, but
like next to a car,
yeah. So cover, yeah. You get next to a car, learn how to shoot behind cover, learn how to engage multiple targets. So it's a lot involved in it. And I'm gonna teach it step by step, objectively.
So cool.
So yeah, I put together a curriculum for all.
Can I say something?
Oh.
You don't have guns in El Salvador? Is that what you're about to say?
No, I'm saying ironically, El Salvador is considered. Everybody thinks El Salvador is dangerous. And I don't understand why you all have to carry guns to protect yourself, but other people think that El Salvador is dangerous. I'm like, what?
So I think the overall thing here is that it is really that guns don't kill people, people kill people, but guns are a part of our Constitution. So you can't really take it away or you're going to start something. Right. So it's better that everyone knows how to use it, because my theory is when everyone's dangerous, nobody has to be. You see what I'm saying? When everyone has the same, you've never heard of a shootout at a gun show.
No,
you've never heard of
That's how you know it's not the object, right? But yeah.
And it's bad.
We have never had a shooting in school. We have never had a shooting in an airport. We never had a shooting in a mall or none of that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, ironically, I don't know. I'm just saying.
So that's what I'm doing with the beginners. I'm trying to bridge that gap, because there's a huge gap between the amount of guns on the streets. I think there's about 3 or 4 times as many guns in the U.S. as there are people. So I'm trying to bridge that gap by saying there needs to be a training. There can't be any training deficit with normal, ordinary citizens.
Well, you're
like a teacher should be like,
"No, this is bridging the gap." So.
Yep. Sorry to take this off topic. It's like JR probably behind the scene, like we talk about.
Indy had a question though. Go ahead, Indy.
Yeah, because I'm ex-military.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
Wanting to know if you like have like military grade like weapons, like some.
So here's the trick. Military grade, or we call it mil spec,
Yeah.
is never better than commercial spec. So I have commercial spec weapons. So the hunk of junk that the military gave me, I
They're
improved
cheap, right?
1,000%. Yeah, think about it. They gotta have thousands and thousands of the same M4 rifle. No,
Ours used to jam up all the time. We're like, okay, like they're like, just put some more CLP inside of it and just, clean it. You need to clean it really well. I'm like, dude, the mag is literally jamming up. And then you have
I'm gonna send y'all my firearms IG and you can take a look at my
yeah,
that's
I've
I'm
seen
in
it. You have
Dallas.
like custom pieces, right? Like you
Yeah, that's my like Trigger Mike one. Sometimes I put stuff on there, but I have an entire firearms page for my business. Yeah.
My fiance is he went to sniper school too, so he's on a whole nother level too with all that. And
what branch is he in?
so he's Army. Now he's
yeah.
He 82nd Airborne.
Okay, yeah. I was airborne too when I grew up in.
That's
Yeah.
86.
But now he's National Guard
yeah.
too. So I
Okay.
mean, but he's like, just say Army.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support, and thank you for your fiance service too.
Yes, and Trigger Mike, you're ex-military too, right?
Navy, yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say thank you also.
Thank
Navy
you.
Hospital Corpsman, yeah. People think I was in the Marines because I was attached to them the whole time.
Yeah.
So they see my uniform, be like, you were in the Marine. No, I was the Navy Corpsman. They call us Devil Docs because people don't know that the Marine Corps is
you guys
department.
are joint base.
Yeah, it's in the Department of the Navy. They don't have medical, so they use the Navy's medical personnel. So.
And I have a question, Trigger Mark. How do you feel about children learning how to handle guns? Because I brought my son to the gun range ever since he was 5, because I never bought him a toy gun because I didn't want him to think guns were something to play with. I wanted to understand the importance and how serious they were. So I taught him at a young age. This is how you handle firearms. This is how you take it apart. So what are your thoughts on that?
Either way works. I mean, you can give them toy guns, but you did the right thing introducing him to the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they need to know the seriousness and the impact behind, like, people naturally do the wrong thing when it comes to guns and try to hide them from your kid. I can tell you that, like, this is my office right here. To my left, there's nothing but guns and gun parts on the table. If, let's say, my children's cousin came over here and tried to touch it, my children would be like, don't touch daddy's guns. We have, fake ones over here to touch, or you could play with it. You don't touch daddy's guns, because they're only 3 and 5, but they've been to the range to understand the impact and hear the boom of the gun. Right. So people try to hide guns from their kids. You should not do that, because exactly. They're naturally curious. So you take away their curiosity by showing it to them, allowing them to shoot it, understand the impact, understand that it can hurt someone, hurt something. We went out, and of course they didn't shoot yet. My daughter's actually still a little frightened of the boom, the sound and the recoil and all of that. But I was out there shooting watermelons, blowing them up. So they love watermelon. So they're like, well, we can't eat it no more. And that's what a gun can do.
Garrett thumb too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, what are the laws in England in this? Because they're banned there, right? No.
Yeah,
guns.
there's no guns. But the funny thing is that
It's kind of like Canada.
the last few months, it's been like guns have been like just seeping into the streets. So this year, probably they've had more shootings than they've had in the last 20 years.
From where?
What do you mean from where?
Where are they seeping from?
Because you know how, like in Chicago,
I have
they're
no
like
idea.
banned, but it's like
The
come
border
from
is
Indiana. You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea, because it's totally new. It's just totally new. It's I have no idea.
For Canada, like we have the similar laws as England. Our queen is
Oh
Queen
yeah, I
Elizabeth.
just forget about
The
that.
king now, king.
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't care. But anyway,
Right.
No, nobody like that guy.
She's like, I do not claim
R.I.P.
him as
because there's
sovereign.
a dead person, but yeah.
give me my stuff back. But anyway, yeah. So you know what it is in Canada? Like, there's no guns. There's like it's banned, right? But there's murders. It's happening all the time. The other day, someone shot up in front of a elementary school, and it was a 14-year-old kid, right? shooting at a 17-year-old kid. So it's like happening every week. And it's guns are banned. Where are they getting the guns from? They're getting it from, it's being smuggled through the borders. It's being, hidden somewhere. But it's here. It's happening,
Well,
so you have
I
to
mean,
think, like, if they're being smuggled, isn't the best solution to be able to have one yourself, but like have laws to protect you?
Think about prohibition. Like that didn't work,
Tell that to my prime minister. Okay.
so y'all want to hear
Let's not
something?
get on him because I'd go on for days.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know where guns initially come from, in Chicago, I got to look this up. I don't know if it was like 2014 when they raided, one of the gangs and collected guns, and I think it was the FBI. So it wasn't the local authorities. They traced the serial numbers back to the police department. So it was like 60% of the guns they found were traced back to the police department. So when you say, where do they get them from? It's like, where do you think all these decommissioned weapons go to? When we say government, we always think there's a huge entity with a bunch of buff guys and security. No, like I was in the military. Simply Indy was in the military. It's a bunch of 18-year-olds losing stuff back there, stealing stuff, selling it for a little bit. Like that's how those guns end up on the train. I guarantee it. That's how they end up on the street.
Absolutely. There's so many crooked cops, right? They're going
exactly.
Like I'll sell you this for like $1,000.
Exactly. If you want to know where the guns come from, who has them? That they sold them. That's where they came from.
Just like the drugs. I'm sorry, like it just goes back to like a corrupted system. It's a setup, right? It's like they try to keep the balance, like a circle of life.
So what country has the least amount of crime?
Oh man,
like
probably Switzerland or somewhere like that.
Sweden.
Yeah, I saw that some months ago.
I like Switzerland or somewhere like that. I don't know.
The thing is, though, is like, and I listen. I love debates and like politics and things like that, but people like to compare the two, but they're just completely different. Like there's just so many things that are different. But I'm pretty sure there was some type of shooting or something like in recent history, like this year or maybe last year, somewhere over there. So which was interesting because you don't ever hear that.
They had a terrorist threat at the like somebody came and blew themselves up at the airport. That's what I think you're talking about. That's what happened over there.
So Iceland, sorry guys, because I want to go to a safe country, it'll be Iceland. It's been the safest country in the world for the last 14 years.
Who the hell is going there?
I'm still saying.
You see the Nordic Lights.
Doing right.
There's a lot of tourists going over there.
Yeah, I get to see the Nordic Lights, and they
Blue
have
Lagoon.
the heated like the ice is all around you with the water.
The outside.
The one that really is getting me right now is Ireland. Those mugs are violent, so I don't.
Yeah, they war against each other. They have like the Protestants and the I can't remember.
Maybe
like
they keep it all in the family.
Yeah, the two religion, like Catholic and Protestant, and they be throwing bombs at each other and blowing up cars and like schools and stuff, like in the same villages, like just like so. Yeah, it's pretty intense up there.
Yeah, I think they meant to put Iceland again, and they just accidentally hit the R.
I'm crying. Where did you look at? Because I'm looking at Iceland.
No, Iceland's number 1 and Ireland is number 3 on the Global Peace Index.
It probably is now because it's not like all of that has died down. That was about 10 or 12 years ago. It was pretty horrible up there. The group
like
was called
IRA,
Sinn Féin.
the resistance movement.
Yeah, Sinn Féin. Sinn Féin was the name of the group. And so it's weird that the group Sinn Féin used to be like almost like Crips and Bloods, and now Sinn Féin is that they're a political party. They actually run for a seat in government now. So it's going from being like outright rebels to politicians. It's weird.
I can't believe Canada made it on there. We're number 12.
Really?
You know who didn't make it on there? America, Texas. No, like what? No, I loved it. I love it though. And this is wish a person would country.
Yeah, Texas.
All right.
For sure, Texas, we think we're our own nation down here.
Yeah.
Like,
But in Texas, can't you carry
oh,
like
it's open
openly?
carry out here, and as long as it's
Constitutional
posted,
carry. Yeah.
You can
So
in
when
Ohio
people
too
say
now, I think.
openly, you know,
it has to be
it's
holstered.
different.
You're gonna
Yeah,
open.
exactly. Has to be holstered. You can have it in your car. Like in my course, I teach. So I can put this in my glove box. Where I was like, do not put your gun and your registration in the same place. You know, that should be common sense. But
That's
it's not
not
common.
Right. Oh
Center
my God.
console. Yeah. Don't buy those little things that have it there by your foot or nothing, because that's illegal. You just don't want the cops to see it. Because it's not about the law or what's lawful. It's about them getting spooked, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would too. Right?
I
Like,
just
you can
thought
put
about
it
it.
in
Oh,
the
sorry.
center console. Go ahead. I'm sorry, V.
No, I was just saying I'm just proud that New Zealand's on there, and guess who's the Prime Minister of New Zealand? A woman. I'm just saying. In case anybody
Trigger
wants to ever tell me, okay,
Hey, Shantae.
seriously, if anybody wants to ever tell me that you know, especially when those, you know, we go on those platforms where the men are like, you know, the whole generation, the kingdoms are falling under a woman's rule. Honey, right now it is.
What is the
Like
gross
yours.
domestic product of
No, I'm
New
just kidding.
Zealand?
What'd you say?
I'm joking. It is a peaceful. I was like, what's the gross domestic product of New Zealand? But they are.
Besides, recently, she was a little chaotic, wasn't she?
No, I think what happened was
During
there
that certain period of time?
let me
I don't want to say it starts with a C.
Wait, isn't New Zealand under like Canadian?
prime-
They're under
Yeah.
Polynesian. They're under Polynesian. So I found out when I was stationed in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the Polynesian, like, they're a Polynesian country.
Okay.
I didn't even know
Like
that.
are they under their own government? Yeah, I think they share some kind of kinship.
Why did you bring up New Zealand? What made you bring up the Prime Minister? What was that about?
Because she's a lady doing well out in these streets. We got to give them wins where they can get them, man. We got to get
because I can flip that. Like basically, if you go to
we
Italy,
can, but we're not going to. It is
no,
don't do
but
it. Don't do it.
if we go to
God.
Italy, right, the
We-
Prime
we-
Minister,
You
I
guys
guess,
save-
yeah.
Wait,
You guys
Wait.
save that for
There's a
Thursday.
lady
Wait.
prime minister in Italy right now.
yeah,
You know what? We can also talk about-
she's
what about your
she-
prime minister in this? Oh, sorry, she quit after a week. See, I said we need to let them have
No,
it.
no, that was good. I was like, yes.
So we
I'm
can,
not
we
even
can go
gonna-
back and forth, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna do
Oh,
that.
she quit after a week.
Yes, she quit after a week. Now we have Sunak. He's not doing much better. But the prime minister in Italy, she's just hasn't denied it. She's outright fascist. I can't even say the word. And I'm yeah.
No, I think
so,
She's
Yeah.
a woman and she's a fascist.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
You know,
the
I don't.
UK that government is so confusing to me. Like one of these days, like
The
I
government
should have
is
paid
dumb.
attention in school. Like
No, you that would not help. That wouldn't help for right now. Right now, that would not help.
no,
It
not
would
now,
just-
but just like
Yeah.
just the structure, because I just want to like understand how it works, because like I just get confused, you know what I mean? Or even Canada and stuff like that. I didn't care then, but I'm interested now. You know, I just think it's interesting.
what you mean
I-
as the monarchy and the politicians and the politics and all of that, or just
Yeah, yeah, or just how they do, like the decorum is different. You know, like you have, it's just different. It's just
It's
it's
like
just
our
pump.
senators,
It's
though.
just pumping. There's just holding on to like a lot of traditions, but everything is done by the politicians inside, arguing inside of a whole,
Parliament?
just parliament just going over stuff. But like, yeah, it's no different from you guys' Senate and stuff, and
That's what I was
it's,
gonna say.
it's
They're
no
like our
different.
senators,
Yeah,
House of Representatives, and stuff.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that. It's
but
kinda-
ours is way more entertaining because they just stand up and go back and
Do they
forth and
tell us?
They
argue
just
and stuff.
yell. They
Yep.
just yell.
It's pretty entertaining. It's pretty
they've got some
entertaining.
good women over there too.
Hmm?
They
Mhm.
televise it over there.
Yeah,
Like when Parliament, that's dope. See,
Yeah.
like they don't show, like they show us some stuff, like you know, like when
You
the
have to go look for
House-
it.
that, but you
These
like
fans shows all of it. It's
some
just
of the
boring as
stuff
hell.
they don't need
Yeah.
It
to
is
No.
boring.
no, ours isn't boring.
Yeah,
Ours
they-
isn't
yeah,
boring.
it's-
They'll be coming to blows in the
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah, it's lit. It's lit. So I mean, they
They'll
literally
be in
be
each other's face in the UK.
Yep.
So,
so.
They don't put the
don't-
wigs on anymore like they used
so
to.
y'all do know
No.
I have political aspirations. You know,
What'd you
I'm only
do?
in
What
my-
you running for?
What do you
Which
want
part
to
of
do?
office?
I'm gonna start at city council. We were building a new house. That's why I didn't want to run, because we were about to change cities. But I think we're staying here because this interest rate won't go down. All right, I'm not closing on that house if this interest rate doesn't go down. But no, I want to go all the way up to Congress. That's something I fully plan to introduce back into the U.S. Congress, where if somebody got something to say, if you're on Twitter, or I'm walking up to that congressman and I'm punching him in the face.
Oh my God.
That is what our forefathers did in this country. They would come, like, read the history. They would come to blows on the congressional floor.
Wasn't
It's
it
like,
Thomas
yes,
Jefferson?
Yeah, but that's how it
Yeah.
used to be.
Back in the day, somebody, when they were going to sign the Constitution, somebody was refusing. Like, they literally were locked up in there for like when they were going over like the amendments and stuff about what to put in and not to put in. And you were right; they were like fist fighting in there because they have a painting.
You see, but you see how now they think
were
it's okay
passionate
to
about
just talk trash politically, like nothing's gonna happen to you. Like Kevin McCarthy feels okay saying, "I'm coming for Hunter Biden's son." So if I'm the president, I'm walking down the congressional floor. You coming for whose son? Now politically, we can do that all day, but I'm about to slap you because you're not just gonna be talking about my family. Like so they think they can they make their issues with each other political. I say make it personal so you can handle that part where it needs to be handled, and the Americans can get their agendas through. They'd be like, "You done? You still coming after my son? You done
So
after I slapped you?"
You're saying he should Will Smith, Chris Rock him in the
yeah. I'm telling you, it would do wonders. It would do wonders for our political system.
Called Ted Cruz's wife ugly.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, why are you?
Because of politics, he had to act. He still had to kiss the guy's ass. Isn't that crazy? Right? He should have went and smacked him and be like, "We can be friends. We can be Republicans." But
I guess he could say that because Melania, I like her style. I think she's like elegant. But I don't think she's really that pretty necessarily. But I just like her. I don't have fashion though, so I don't know.
I can't even do her face.
They used to come for Michelle Obama all the time. They would call her.
They still do. What do you mean? They still do.
Speech. Didn't she take her speech? Melania literally wrote verbatim to Michelle.
I think that was just what's it called? I think that was just clickbait type. Like I'd have to look into it. I'd have to look into the actual truth behind that because you know how the media is. But yeah,
no, it's word for word. It's word for word.
There was a lot of similarities.
They literally.
What do they say? Imitation is like the best form of flattery.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I like her speech. Play it again. Oh, that's what I'm gonna say. Oh no, did we lose Indy? So I do have more questions. I'm very much enjoying this conversation. But I do have a couple more questions, and I know
I had a name for you, Kelly, because when you're talking about guns, you're talking about guns and rolling over the floor and stuff. So I was like, Trinity.
I'm okay with that. Trinity was.
You know, Trinity is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Old enough to, I know everyone else gave their ages and they were so young, but I remember the first time I said to a little girl, because she had the sunglasses on, I was like, "Oh my God, you look like you're from the Matrix." And she was like, "What's the Matrix, mommy?" I was like, "Oh my God, how old am I?" God, because I was a teenager when that came out. So did I just date myself?
Yeah, I mean, I was too. I don't know who they calling old though.
Oh my God,
I'd be like, I guess you just new or young, but I ain't know.
My son,
Matrix is dope.
My son was like, "Mom, did you know John Wick is in the new Matrix?" I was like, "Baby, they're the same guy."
I wore an Aaliyah shirt out, and people were like, didn't know who Aaliyah was. Like some kids, like
really
Gen Z. Yes, they have no idea. Like I have a 14-year-old brother. If I were to go ask him who some people were, he'd probably be like,
"Yep."
No, I feel like
they're not
on.
They're not on Twitter, so.
They're not on Twitter. I do have a question though. So my next question was, what tradition, if you have children, what traditions have you passed down to them? Or if you don't have children, what traditions do you want to pass down when you do have them? Since we were talking about holidays and traditions, I know we got off topic with guns, but
I do have a child. We celebrate both. She's from a Christian home and a Muslim home, so we celebrate both. Sorry, 1 second. She wants to kiss before bed.
Oh, she's so cute.
I love that though. As a child that came from both, I think that I appreciated that. Like my mom letting me go to Hebrew school, but then also going to like church on
Mhm.
Sunday still, like getting both. So I had a choice. Like I never felt like I was swayed one way or the other.
Did you
So-
ever feel like it was a conflict, like you had to decide? No. Okay.
Only time that I ever felt like maybe like a little bit of conflict is like if I were to go to like now, because now I'm Christian. Like I got baptized at 18 by my own right. And so I'm still Jewish by birthright, right? And so I have the like choice to be able to go back and convert if I want to.
Mhm.
But because I got baptized, now there's like I would be considered a Messianic Jew.
Gotcha.
So yes, you know what? I love that, Indy, that you mentioned that, because I try to incorporate, like, I want her to choose for herself. To be honest with you, I don't want to pick for her. So if she depends on what she likes, right? God is literally within you. Like wherever you go, there's God. If you're really gonna look for God, you're gonna find God, right? So we celebrate Eid, we do celebrate Christmas. I have a Christmas tree right now, like 1st of November. I love Christmas lights. I buy her gifts. She buys me, like, she makes me stuff, right? And I think it's special in that way. And like, it's just a getting together as a family. Like, I love it. With Eid, she loves receiving stuff, right? So for Eid, she does the same thing. She gets a lot of stuff. I tried to make her fast, but it didn't work out. But we're trying. I just want to introduce her to different stuff. When I was younger, I felt like I was forced into Islam a lot, right? I was forced to go to Arabic school, go pray, wear a hijab, but like just to pray, and then after you can take it off. So I'm like, it's weird. Like if I'm gonna wear it, I'm gonna wear it. Like there's a lot of things that I didn't agree with, but then I started. I went to world religion, so I looked into Buddhism, Hinduism. I went to the temples, I went to the mosques, I went to the I even looked at Judaism as well, but it's an intense, like it's like a test to get into to be a Jewish person. Like you can't be a Jewish person, and especially I want to tell you, I want to ask you, because Indy, a woman, like
we carry the bloodline, so
right.
My kids are all Jewish, regardless of who I have a baby with. That's what I was just talking to somebody that the other day. I was like, it's very normally in most religions, it's the man. But like my children have the capability to my daughter. Like my daughter, she can go and all her kids will be Jewish. So it carries on through our womb. That's why it's so important for a Jewish woman to have children.
Right. And a Jewish man can't marry a non-Jewish woman. Like it's looked down upon.
Yeah, but, and he can never, it's very difficult for him to convert her.
Right. Because she has to literally like practice, go under a rabbi, like prove that she's Jewish. Even then, like it's up to him, right? But in Islam, it's totally different. It's the man, like the man who's like who can marry whoever, and then the child is automatically Muslim, right? But yeah, so it's interesting.
That's very interesting. That is interesting.
If you're not of the bloodline, I guess, or so you can convert though, or is that like kind of frowned upon, or
no? So, like it literally goes back to like your lineage. So like my mom's family is half Sephardic, half Ashkenazi, which is different types of yeah. So like
I have like half a percentage, I think.
Yeah, but, like you would probably be Ashkenazi, which is like post. So they're like European Jews, so like Russian, Turkish, what else, like German, post I want to say like post Holocaust, almost like they came from European side. And then Sephardic is like your Jordanian Jews, your Palestinian Jews, Egyptian Jews, even they have them, Ethiopian Jews. So like that's the two different like, and you can't just walk into like a temple and like tell them like, and you have to prove your lineage as well. Like you have to have proof, biological proof.
And so like how someone could convert and be like I want to decide to be Catholic so we can get married. You can't do that if you're a Jew. Can't be like,
unless you marry a Jewish woman, you can do that. If you marry a Jewish woman, it's a lot easier for a man to convert. that she marries. But most Jewish women who are traditional, like growing up, I probably would have thought that I would end up marrying a Jewish man. Because I went to Hebrew school. Like, I studied under a rabbi, like, for me to be able to bat mitzvah when I turned 13. In Israel, it's 12 for girls, but here in America, it's 13 for girls. And then after that, that's your becoming, like, of a woman. And normally Jewish families, you do marry in, like, your temple or your synagogue, because it's also an economic thing.
So yeah, I haven't heard from you in a while. You've just been chilling back, listening.
Yeah, you guys were talking about the gun thing. I had to stay quiet because I was like, okay, hands up. Impressed. I want to be like, nope.
We don't do that in El Salvador. Okay, you Americans.
No, well, the traditions that I really want my daughter to have is to keep on with connecting with the family, you know, just remain attached. I want her to come visit me when I'm old, to visit her father. She does go to her father every weekend, and her little brother. Actually, I invited him and the little brother to the gathering that we're having this weekend that I told you earlier.
That's awesome.
So even though me and him are not together, like, you know, it's our job to remain our family, you know, together. That's
would
what
he
it is
come?
about.
He wouldn't think that it was weird. He would join.
He said yes. He's been in birthdays, like my niece's birthdays, my daughter's birthday. He was there. I had a boyfriend back then, and he was there. Like,
that's awesome.
It's, you know, you create, like me and him have a daughter, okay, in common. That's it. Like, we have a daughter in common, and regardless of our differences earlier, you know, when we separated, we've gone through all that. So yeah, now it's.
Sorry, I wanted to kind of ask, because I went through the same like motions as you, right? I was married, then got divorced. It was a bad breakup. For how long? Because it took me a while. Like, therapy helped me through it, but how long did it take you to kind of like accept, like kind of come around him and still not feel anything?
That's a good question.
It's different. It's usually, it happens when a woman is hurting, or because he did something. It will take longer. I knew that whatever he did, it was something I will forgive him eventually. But I would say it took me 3 years of therapy to forgive him. But to have him around, he was around the next weekend, you know, like I never prohibit him to visit my daughter, because I mean, he cannot get close to me, but that's his daughter. And I will never separate her from him. I don't.
He didn't get close to you a few times, just a few times. You didn't slip.
Never. Not even his dream. I have said it before. If humanity, I promise you, I swear, if humanity depended on me to procreate with this man, I would say, humanity, I'm done.
That's how my sister is. Yeah.
Let's die. Nope.
I
have never been with an ex. Like, I've never been back with an ex. Never. That doesn't equate.
You look like once you cross.
I've been back with all my exes. My wife was
never. Oh my God, that's like throwing trash and then going to the garbage and like, what else can I find here? No, thank you.
Oh damn.
You guys do not cross Aida. That's it for you.
Nope. The ones I crossed that line, but I have to say the reasons why I left, because I left. It's not something easy. It's not simple. It was really bad. I didn't even share a tear after I left his house. Like, I never, you know, like I was done. So sometimes there was that feeling that, man, I really wanted to keep my family together, but it was more like just to what the family represents. But I wouldn't be, you know, giving my daughter the best example, because I cannot allow her to see any type of disrespect or witness this type of things, and she will grow up thinking that it's right, and it's not. So now I would say it's easier to for both of us, because he became a single father after, you know, a few years, he had a kid with another woman, and she abandoned him and the boy.
Look at
So
karma. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
no, I said it. You know, I said it in my mind, but I don't make fun of it because I really have feelings for this little boy. Oh my God, I really care for him so much that I want him around. I see the love that my daughter has for him that I cannot.
That's her brother.
Yeah, I cannot say no, don't invite him, or no, we don't want him around. Like, I can't do that. It's family, you know. It's, for me, it's family. He's family.
That's what stops me from thinking ill thoughts about my niece's dad, because I'm like, that's still her father, so I have to like check myself, you know.
Of course, yeah, and you can never stop that love they have for them. Like, my daughter loves my cooking, but sometimes she's like, "That's why I like my dad's better because you don't use too much salt."
Yeah, when she says stuff like that, I'm like, rude. She's not even my kid; she's my niece.
Yeah, you feel it. But again, I would say that connection with family, this thing that family is the most important thing. I really want her to keep that up because my grandpa thought that, you know, he really put that in us. I would say until today, we're still doing it. I want her to carry that. I definitely don't want her to follow, you know, for other traditions, if especially if she doesn't know the meaning of it. For example, this year specifically, for Halloween, her little friend invited her over to her neighborhood to go get candy. How do you call that?
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat? Yeah,
Treating.
So she really wanted to go, and she wanted to wear a custom. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna buy you all the candy. You don't need to have candy from someone else, especially if we have to go through all the candy to check if that candy is right. Please, no, let me go to the store, pick whatever candy you want. But no, I really was like, I really don't want you to celebrate that. Like, if you want to go experiment what it is like to go with your friends just to do that, go. You don't have to wear a custom. You don't. So she was okay with it, just going. She really just wanted to be with her friends. That's it.
How old is she?
10.
And you would never let her celebrate?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I was telling you earlier, I've seen younger generations doing these things now just because they see it on social media and they think it's cool. Like, they get dressed up for work on Halloween. They show up with their customs. Some people is doing it. Most of us are not. That's the reality. The younger generations are doing it. But they're just doing it for the fun part of wearing a custom, not a celebration per se. So they don't even know what's the celebration about.
I wonder if technology has a role in this.
Go ahead, Coach. I knew you got to real quick. So give your.
Oh no, real quick. I was just gonna say, I wonder. I bet it's technology that has a role in this.
Yeah, definitely.
More connected than ever. You know,
exactly.
Like different nations and whatever.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. Some people celebrate Thanksgiving here, but they don't know what it means. They just do it because people do it and they see people doing it. Some people started like doing the matching pajamas for Christmas. I'm 36. We never did that with my family. Never. I've never seen my grandfather.
It's cute.
We don't.
Come on.
This is for people that when I say this, they're like, "What? We don't buy a gift for Christmas. We don't do that."
You know what it is, Tyra? I think it's like the United States, like America is a big influence in the whole world. Big
influence. Consumers.
Right.
So what do you do?
iPhone 14, and you have to buy it because you feel like oh my God, you're behind. You don't want to feel like you don't belong. I have an Android, and it's worth the same amount that an iPhone, but people would judge me. I can afford an iPhone. I just don't want it. I don't want to because iPhone gives you a status, not an actual brand or whatever. It's just what they make you think that it is.
I'm judging you. I'm an iPhone all the way. Sorry, Androiders.
I was with you, Sarah, until you said iPhone.
No, I'm Android.
No, I respect people that like iPhone, but
the Galaxy, not Android.
No. So this is the thing. I don't defend the brand or what they can do. You feel more comfortable and you just fall for like what you feel comfortable with. What I don't like is the fact that people judge you saying you're poor or you don't have this just because you don't wear or you don't have it. Like, I don't have Jordans. Does that make me poor? I can afford the Jordans.
I'm joking.
I can afford the Jordans.
That's some American stuff.
But
right
I don't
there.
like them. I don't like them. I don't like those Jeezy
I mean,
shoes.
listen, God bless
horrible.
you. God bless you, because you not being affected by that stuff is actually great for your children. All right. That's why I just had to deal with that. Because, yeah, I wear Jordans, but it's not the same reason. I grew up watching Michael Jordan play basketball. I probably should be some of the only people, millennials should be the only people wearing Jordans, if you ask me. Because I watched the games where he was wearing the Jordans that I had on, right? But I went out with my Jordans last Saturday, as a matter of fact, and my son had on his favorite shoes, these Paw Patrol shoes that he likes to wear. And somebody was like, damn, you ain't gonna hook your son up with the same Jordans you got? And I cut him off. I was like, don't do that. Don't put these pressure stereotype things. I was like, that we're not raising them with that.
And how old is he? Like
3. He's 3.
Oh
so
my
he's
God.
gonna outgrow
in my
him.
case,
You know,
in my case, it happens
Exactly.
the opposite. My daughter's father grew up in the US. So he's from here, was born here, but he grew up over there he lived there for over 30 years, I think.
Damn,
And
no. I'm
he's
sorry.
older than me, yes.
oh my gosh, terrifying.
But he buys my daughter Jordans. She owns a couple of pairs, like more than 5 pairs of Jordans. You ask her what that is, she don't know. She don't know. She just know that has shoes. That's it. Because I make sure that for her it's just shoes. So if I go buy her any shoes, it's the shoes that she likes. It's not a brand. It's not something. And then someone actually on a panel judged me because I said, am I gonna buy my daughter a present just because we're at a toy store and she wants it? No. And they're like, you have to. That's why no, I don't have to.
Nope, you don't.
If I am at the
We're here
store
window
buying a
shopping.
present for someone else, and we're going to pick up a present for someone else, do I have to buy her just because she's like on the floor? My daughter has never gone on the floor asking for anything, by the way. But I've seen kids like, no, I want it.
Right.
No, I don't have to. You have to earn it. And that's the way. I have the money to buy it. Yes, but you have to earn it. She missed her class.
Yeah.
She missed her English class today. She went in and got out after break. And guess what happened? The teacher sends the if they participated or not. And I noticed her participation was only one time in the class. I'm like, did she join the class? And she said, well, she left after a certain time. I'm like, okay, phone blocked. I can block her phone. You're not using the phone because you missed your class. So she earned. She's going to dance classes. Oh, you want to continue? Give me good grades because you earn things. We don't deserve nothing. Nothing. We don't deserve anything.
Can I ask a question too? Because I think that like I maybe because over here in America, like parenting has become such a like a trend. It's like a trend. And then too, everyone like frowns upon like if you discipline your child a certain way, if you talk to your child a certain way, are you gentle parenting? Are you not? You're abusing your child if you're doing so. Everything is just so like criticized and touch and go. That's what I'm saying. Like
I wish somebody would. I will discipline them too.
Like back in the day, you could take your child to the bathroom, they're throwing themselves on the floor. Like you knew you weren't gonna throw yourself on the floor and embarrass your parents in the store like that. They're gonna get your bond.
Just put the nail in.
For sure.
And now it's like if you do that, like there was a lady in the I took my niece and my son to the little jump place, and there was a lady and her child was like screaming, and I was like, you're not gonna snatch her up. You're not gonna snatch your child up. Like you're gonna snatch her up, take her to the car. She just let her just scream, and then like my niece was like, "Oh, she's being a bad girl." I'm like, "Yeah, at least you know,
right? It's not okay. It used to be unacceptable, but now
so Indy, we were at the jump park yesterday. The same exact thing happened, except in the line, and the girl was holding on to the thing, swinging, and the mom was trying to stop her. And this is the funny thing: when my kids see another kid acting up like that, they look at me like I'm supposed like.
You're not
like. Let's see what that is. Does Daddy think this is acceptable? And I just looked at them like, you already know. You already know this. These sleeves will get rolled up because I don't mind. I have disciplining in public
all the time, and I can't stand when I have to tell their child to behave. It's like, can you not see them running around and jumping on things and climbing? Can you not see that, or you just don't care?
I was gonna say kids
Yeah.
are the reflection of their
Of the
parents.
parents,
That's what that's
definitely.
what it is. Kids are a reflection. So it's how you raise them. My daughter,
Mm-hmm.
if she sees a kid that is not behaving, she will literally walk away and she will call him savage. And she will not call them. She will come to me and tell me they're being savages. And she just
Wait.
walks away. And that's what my grandpa said. The wise sees dangers and walks away. You don't have to go in and put yourself in danger just because, you know, like, so that's the way that we're raised. It's like, if you see something is wrong, walk away. You don't have to be part of it. You don't.
You can
So-
tell like by who has been disciplined like as a child and who hasn't, like, you know, by it being in the same
sure.
room. Okay.
Right.
Because my daughter, like, she would literally, like, back in, like, when she was small, I nipped things in the butt like as a baby, so she doesn't really remember that I disciplined her, because now she just like remembers, like, I look at her like this, she knows it's danger, danger, like, do not cross me. So like now I'm more stern. I don't have to put my hands on her.
Mm-hmm.
But like back home, yes, like I grew up in a country with my parents who beat me, my teachers beat me, and guess what? I came out as a great person. Like, I came out, like, seriously, I have,
You're like, I came as a girl person.
you know, like, I have a lot of traumas, but
Yeah, that's the thing. The dramas, you just mask it good.
it doesn't mean I love my mom any less. Like, I just appreciate her, because guess what? She used to beat me for not knowing my ABCs, and I know my ABCs very well now. Okay, like, I am very fluent in that. But it's just
Stand
like
backwards.
I actually no. But it's funny because, like, you can, like, my daughter, she's only 6 years old, and I see kids the same age, and like I just can't understand, like, how do you let your kid get to that point where, like, the teeth are decaying because you can't say no to them having candy, or like they have like fillers, like literally silver teeth. They look like they're bad
kid. You know the bad kids. They eat hot
But you know
Cheetos.
what?
They eat hot Cheetos.
They eat hot
But
Cheetos.
you know what? You know what the curious thing, and you probably will relate. You know when your kids are doing wrong, and you know, and you're like, why did I let that happen? Like, you're wondering, and you literally question yourself, like, I don't want my kid to do that, because my kid has done it like a couple of times where she said something hurtful. I know she doesn't mean it, but I don't want to have to tell her, you have to apologize, or you owe me an apology, or you have to say sorry. I want her to genuinely, you know, think about it, go and consider what you say, and then come back, and I want a genuine apology. So, but deep inside, I'm like, wow, what did I do? I'm conscious that she did something wrong. And why didn't I do something about it? Because if I'm there, like I've done it, I know that every parent has questioned themselves about it too.
You
and
know,
it's
when
not even
go ahead.
no, it's not even like the parents. Sometimes it's not the parents, it's the friends that, like, you bring around your child, right? The friends are bringing this bad behaviors and they're learning it. And, you know, my daughter's like, oh, you know, mommy, he used the bathroom word and he said I can use it too. I'm like, yo, like, don't. I'm like, please don't test me today, right? There's times when, like, oh my God, there was such crazy stuff that happened at school where I got a call from her principal saying, oh, you know, Amira said somebody touched her private part. Like, yes. And it was a girl. And the girl said, yes. Like, I had a heart attack. I'm like, what? And she's like,
I'm in the school. Who? Where? Where's the kid?
School. Yeah. I'm
Where's
like,
their parent?
what?
We need to have a conversation. What?
Trust me. She's like, yeah, he just came from behind her and said, oh, pee, right? What? I'm like, okay.
Is it a public school?
It's a public school, right? So she calls me. The girl's mom called me. She's like, hey, did you get a call from a school? Now, this is her friend. So she has my number, right? This is her friend, and we all hang out. And the mom calls me and she's like, hey, do you know what happened? I'm like, oh, so it was your daughter. I'm like, thank you, because I'm over here trying to do algebra, like, who did this, right? Trying to figure it out. Like, yeah, I'm like, you know, and she's saying that it happens like with her brother, like they just play around, like, oh, pee, whatever. I'm like, no. Like, I mean, this is happening at home and you're bringing it to school. Like, when are you going to nip it in the butt? When is it going to happen? Like, I was upset, but thank God, because the principal's like, she's very vocal. Like she told me exactly what happened, where it was. She used the right analogy, like the vagina. Like she said, she touched my vagina, you know? And I'm so proud of my daughter for doing that, because like it's not like, I think we spoke about this before, because you know, saying like, oh, they touched my cookie or they touched my treasure or whatever doesn't stand in court. I think Saira was saying that before. But yeah, man, it's
I've heard that too.
home, coming from home. And it's scary.
We're holding court on the streets. Somebody do that to my daughter. That's all I got to say.
That's what
I would be
say.
all up in the. I remember my son. They had an incident when he was in VPK, and I guess he was going to recess around the same time as like the second graders. So it was girls a little bit older, and we were having a conversation. I was like, you know, Isaiah, sorry, my son. I'm like, you can't be in everyone's bubble. You have to have boundaries. You have to give people space. Not everybody likes to be touched. You can't just hug people. We're having. He's like, well. He said this little girl at school, she likes to be touched. I was like, what do you mean she likes to be touched? Who is this person? What's going on? I'm like, principal, teacher, other parent, what the heck is happening here? And it was some older girl, and they found out some things were going on in her home, and she was like having other kids do stuff to emulate what was going on at home. So like being able to talk to your kids and being open and honest and having these conversations allows you to nip things in the bud before it gets to a certain point. But I was like livid. I was like, I'm ready for war. Bring me the mom so I can punch the mom in the face because I can't touch. I was so angry. I was because your children shouldn't be exposed to things like that. But
absolutely not. And bringing like, I think a lot of now, like it's sad because it's sad to say, I'm an advocate, big advocate for single moms. I love every single woman. Like I'm a big woman lover. Okay. But when I see women like just so desperate to have a relationship, they like go from men to men to men and like just not even realizing it's your child. Your child needs the love, right? Yes, you may need love from a man, but your child needs love from you. And when you bring different men around, like when are you having sex and like being conscious about like, oh yeah, I'm being too loud, my child is next door. Like, come on, they can hear you. Children are not stupid.
Or she even needs having to give constant change. Like that's not a stable environment.
She needs to give love to herself, that mom.
Yeah.
Look at you, okay? Like let me
I can't help it. I know my brain is wired that way, but yeah.
But that's like kids with unrestricted technology as well. Like my son does not have a cell phone. He's 7. Where is he going that he's without an adult, my mom, someone present that he needs to have a cell phone? Nowhere, right? And so one of my friend's daughters has a cell phone, and she has an unrestricted access on her cell phone. And
7?
And I got they had went to like a sleepover, and my son, he's a snitch. He's gonna tell it. Like
good.
And so they didn't stay for the sleepover part. We just went over there to like hang out, but the girls were having a sleepover. And so it was 2 of my friends, and then they each have a couple of daughters apiece. And so my son and then one of the other girls' sons were the only 2 little boys up there. So they're playing with my son's Switch and stuff like that. My son's like, I'm not interested in whatever the girls are doing because, but he came downstairs and he goes, they're up there watching naked people. I said, what are you talking about?
Nope.
Why are you laughing? It's not a laugh.
The little girl was watching.
The guys think that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think boys are natural. So
no, yes, my son today went to the art museum. He's like, look at those long boobies.
Listen. Well, like, I have a different twist on it. Okay, so I was very naive, and especially millennial men. We grew up in a time where we were told a lot of things like we're disgusting, girls are virtuous, be sure how you treat a woman. So we're like, damn, boys are disgusting. We're just little hornballs. Then I grew up. Okay. Then I started working and I realized girls are nastier than boys are. We have the element of shame still present in being a male. So we have to watch ourselves carefully everywhere we go so we don't get that creep stamp on us, right? So at work, I'm super respectful. I'm talking to everyone, greeting them, making sure to give that church side hug so I don't graze the boob with my arm, all that stuff. But have you ever been in a lunchroom with a bunch of ladies talking about giving fellatio to their husband, and I don't think he liked it? Like, I was like, y'all are disgusting. Like, women are way worse than men. That's why I laugh. Like, of course the girls were doing it, because for the longest time nobody was on their radar. You didn't think girls weren't doing it. They're just upstairs. They're combing each other's hair. No,
it's a fact.
The porn industry is $1 billion industry, and you think it's all dudes? I mean, billions and billions of dollars, and you think it's all dudes on there? Absolutely not. Go ahead, check that search history, run those debit cards back, and you'll find it's at least 50% female.
But it's actually a fact that women think about sex more than men. Just saying. Well,
so here's the crazy part about it. The reason why the stats actually now say women cheat more than men, which makes perfect sense to me.
Oh my God, that's not. Okay.
It's easier for y'all to get, like, it's very hard for a man to get booty out here. Very easy for y'all. Literally, sorry, we did it on the show. Remember, Kay and Kayla's show, where I was like, text that dude, remember? And he was like, what? He didn't say no, but it's like, it's very hard for dudes to get booty out here.
Mm-hmm.
A woman can literally, so we used to do this thing in college, and let me know if you did it, where if you striking out for the night or with your main joint, right? You know, damn, I really I'm gonna poke a hole in something. Be like, you know what I'm saying? My hand hurt too. It's like, no, I gotta have the live stuff tonight. So you send out 10 text messages, 10 possibles to get 2 back, right?
But wait, Trigger Mike, we can turn that around, right? Because you could say it's hard for a man to get pussy. Sorry, I'm gonna use the P word, but the thing is, like you said, women are also nasty. So it's true, because women will mess with another woman's man.
Absolutely.
So she doesn't care if that man has. Yeah. He will end up cheating anyway. So it's easy for him.
No. I'm gonna shut that shit down right now. Women, I'm gonna shut that shit down right now. Women have it 100 times easier to get a partner, to get a one night stand than a man.
Like I said, I send out 10 text messages to get 2 back, saying, all right, I'm down. You send out 10, and 10 dudes showing up at your door.
At 18,
what you want to eat? I'll bring you want to bring food. What you would?
At 18 in college, where you in college at 18? What year? Your first year, second year? What in college? Second year in college?
Who?
At the age of 18?
Oh, yeah.
First year.
At second year. And the majority of guys that I knew, I was one of them. The majority of guys that I knew, and probably not now, but were virgins up until the age 20. You know, and the thing is, we all talk like, yo, I saw you with so and so. You were over there talk, yeah, man. We went to the movies, and I got a dinner. What? All of that? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. But you had the best stories. You just told a story you saw on TV. That's all you did.
I know men who lost it at 12. So I don't know.
That's not the norm. That's not the norm. It's not the norm.
So by all accounts, I lost my virginity late.
Why don't women listen to what men's telling them? It's not the norm.
You do know men. This is what I'm saying. You do know men that lost it early. They fit a certain archetype of male, right? So I didn't really learn this until I got to college. I didn't want to assimilate to what everybody else was doing, because I was genuinely an original person. I thought my appeal was my personality. Forget that. They don't care about that. They want to know what sneakers you got on your feet, how you talking, what kind of slang you using, all of that stuff. I went into college with that attitude, couldn't keep them off me, right? But then you look at my roommates. I stayed in a suite with 4 people, right? Basically 2 nerds, did not get any booty. Then I'm like, so then I crossed, and my roommate crossed, and then the other 2, the second they got some appeal to them, they both crossed Kappa. Now all of a sudden, girls running through the room because they got a little bit of swag. They're dressing like their other frat brother. So it's like women they have a specific type of male that they want. You remember the statistic says y'all don't see 90% of men.
Yeah.
So your type is the only one in your your eye view. You filter out everybody else.
The brain is wired that way. Yes.
Exactly. You filter out everybody you don't like. If you don't like white guys, you filter them out. You don't even know what shirt. You don't even acknowledge him as a D-carrying member of society when he
Like
walks
hair.
So how does
Exactly.
it?
I didn't fit. I didn't fit.
That I agree.
Ms. Robinson, I just want to tell you, I did not fit. When I went to college, I did not fit. I was an island sailor. I did sailing. I did swimming. I was on the swim team, and I was a cyclist. I did all the things that people like me don't do. So I was not getting any game. I mean, I try to walk with the swag. I dress like everybody, but that guy,
And you know what?
he rides a paddle bike. You know, it's. Pardon me?
You know what is the sorry? You know what's the saddest part that I am thinking that when you say I didn't fit, I lost it when I was 19 with my first boyfriend. And I remember being in high school and the girls there will treat me like, oh, you're the innocent, you're like the one that doesn't know nothing, because they were already in there, you know, like they had experience with sex. And I was the one that they didn't want to hang out with, but I was in soccer team, so I was very active, and I was not allowed to stay home, you know, out, you know, too late and things like that. So women will actually judge me and treat me bad for not having sex with men at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
So
the
we did
same
the same.
way.
We did the same. So it just basically boils down to there's a certain, even though they say athletes tend to be you know, dating and getting all the girls, I didn't have time between trying to get my books in and between trying to be competitive and be, you know, like, you know, in my sports or whatever. There wasn't time. And, you know, even though you smile at a girl and say, can I have a date and stuff, you just didn't have the time to perfect your craft to go and talk to somebody. And when I got about 26, then I met an awesome lady. She hadn't been with no one. So I saved my quality and I ended up with quality rather than those guys that had been around. So it paid off, and it was a beautiful thing. And this is the funny thing. It was a beautiful thing until she left Bermuda and went to college in the US. And the US girls told her that she needed to go sew her and don't care about whatever. And you know that
if I changed her, didn't
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I want to kind of get into the fact that like women has been exposed to sex at a much earlier age than men. Because I just did my research, so I wanted to kind of make sure I was right. 1 out of 6 women are sexually assaulted, as opposed to 1 out of 12 men, right? So, I mean, we can't.
The men don't tell you.
Yeah,
I was gonna say you have to.
The men will not tell you.
So
I know boys in my school that had. Sorry, Mike. I know boys in my school that other boys have touched them, and them boys today will not tell you. Them boys will not tell you anything.
Okay.
Yo, Mike.
No, I'm not out. I'm saying about
okay. No, I understand your stats, but
right.
like
has to go
the
too.
boys,
Thank you.
the boys won't the boys won't tell you. So those stats are gonna be way off.
The way the stat usually looks is
we
that
can't talk about something that's not like, I'm just talking about things that are facts. Like we can't talk about non-tangible things.
Well, this is
yet.
what I'm saying. The stat says reported. So it basically says 1 in 6 girls have reported and 1 in 12 boys have reported. So let me give you like something to kind of show you what's going on in the military. I was tapped to put together something for our big like annual training, like, you know, about STDs and all this stuff. And somebody gave me a piece of information and they were like, the CO wants this put into the presentation. And I had to go to him and be like, this is wrong. It says more males are being assaulted than women. This can't be true. And he said, okay, this is what I'm explaining to you. He's like, not only do sailors not report the abuse, he's like, you have to think about it like this. He's like, here's how you know it's true. Women get assaulted by men only. Men get assaulted by men and women. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So when you put it to yourself like that, snap.
He's not wrong.
And the difference is that when it's a woman, it's not something they dislike.
Definitely not going to be said so.
Because it's learning experience, even though it's still abuse. They're like, oh, okay, so it makes sense.
So when he said that, it changed my whole worldview. And he said that minute amount that they report it. So that, you know, it'll come up in different ways where you have to ask what happened. And
Right.
We had the person that I'm specifically talking about had bleeding coming through his uniform and was like kind of basically forced to tell me after. Like, it didn't stop after some days. And then he went out, he was assaulted by another one of the sailors, and I was like, okay, this is crazy.
It's definitely
Yeah.
deep. It's deep.
He didn't want to report it. He was embarrassed.
But you're not wrong, because this I know what you just read, but the statistic I heard, it was 1 in every 4 women in their lifetime will be some type of sexually abused, right?
Mhm.
And it happens more with men or boys, but they don't talk about it. And at first I thought this was incorrect, but I've had conversations with men. Like, I'll talk about it, like, you know, that barbershop talk. And then the guys will be like, no, that's not true. I'm like, okay, cool. When did you lose your virginity? Right. And they were like, oh, when I was like, usually it's like 12 to 14.
How old was the woman?
And I'm like, that's what I say. How old
Yeah.
was she? And it's always an older girl, an older woman. Always. And I was like, okay. And they were like, no, but that's cool. You know, I got an older girl. I'm like, okay, let me ask you something. Based on that age ratio, if you had a child and a son and a woman who was like 23 mess with your kid, would that be cool with you? They were like, I'll beat that bitch out. You know, like, they get so angry. Why?
My mom lost it. I was 19. I came home with a young lady. She was 28. I'm 6'3". She was 5'11". She was fine. She was fit. She looked like she was about 18 as well. But I don't know. My mom knew her family or something. And she's like, what are you're not here for my son. My mom lost it at the door. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? Get out of you're messing, I'm on my way. I'm making some progress. I'm getting some play.
But that's almost deemed cool. So for like, if you're a young boy
but I was 19 years. I was a man
like,
I was in,
girl?
At 19, cool. It's different if I was 13. I'm 19 years old. I'm going 20. So, I mean, I didn't, if my son came and an older woman, I don't know what I would say. I don't know.
I think us millennials, we were always looking for older men, like older mates, right? Because I was always like interested, like, I mean, goodness.
Because I don't even understand, like, I was kind of confused at the whole Me Too and everything. I was like, man, I'm sorry. What famous case was there of some like an age disparity? And all these girls I went to high school with talk about that's gross, that's disgusting. And this is me on Facebook, like, not you with the Navy dude picking you up from high school with the 24-inch rims. I know you're not talking. That dude was 30. You see what I'm saying? So, the hypocrisy was crazy to me. How people like to push that, and yes, it's still wrong. You got the age barriers there, but they were participating in it when they were. I think
what it was, we were not educated. Like, we didn't really know. Like, there was a lot of like issues. Like, we didn't know what love was. A lot of people who did that we didn't have like fathers to look out for us. Be like, okay, who are you dating? They don't look out. He's like, oh, who's that? Who's coming to pick you up from high school and you're going to their house and coming home the next day? Like, I had my friend who was in grade 10 and the guy was 36. Now he's 50 something. Like, it's just
listen, there is no issue that we suffer from in Western society that cannot be traced back to fatherlessness in one way or another. Even if you had your own father, your peers didn't. So it's like somehow it's affecting you as well because of their behavior that may be rubbing off on you. So like it stems to everything we've talked about. It stems to specific gender roles in the house, because like this is the funniest thing. When people talk about gender roles, I hate that term. Gender roles as we know them are actually natural roles. They're not. If you leave women alone to segregate themselves to roles, it'll look exactly like it looks today. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what I don't like about the term in itself.
Can you expound on that a little bit? Because that was actually my final question. Are there specific gender roles do you believe there should be? Why not? So that was.
So yeah, I'll continue on the same train of thought. They're actually natural roles. They're not gender roles. So it's only in Western society, and I really want to talk to the men on this one. Western society has made it so women can say gender roles are open to interpretation, right? But they're not really, because let's leave it to the women. The men behave the way we behave and do the things we do, not because we're men, not because we're going around beating on our chest saying, I am king. We do what we do because of your expectations of us. Mm-hmm. So you got to think, who put these expectations on us to die at work, be at work until whatever, and bring that money home, bring the bacon, all that. It's the woman that put the expectations on. When you really break men down, we are cleanup men in our family. We do whatever needs to be done and is asked of us in service to our family. And when you put that on a man, everything's going to look the same way it does now. Because take all the male roles that people talk about, put it on the woman, and start a clock. Start a clock on that and see how long she's gonna do that exact role you doing before she's like, not my cup of tea. Right. So we do what we do because of y'all expectations of us. I know.
Sorry, Mike. I wanted to say, trigger Mike. I wanted to say, because I don't think it was women. I think it was men, because men sent off, like at 18, you have to go to war. You have to fight. They're not putting women on the battlefield, right? Yeah. They're putting men. So when men were out fighting and dying, women, we had to put on our big construction boots and we had to go out there and make the economy great again, right? We had to build it up. So at that point, if we had that same mentality, like, oh, you're not equal than us, you have to stay home and cook, then there will be nothing. We'll be still in the
So F. Robinson, that's a false narrative.
I was gonna say, but yeah.
Name me a man. So this is the weird. Let me do this. In the U.S., 70% of black men in this country were raised by a single mom. That mom had to work to take care of that kid. Most of these single moms were working women. That makes the black American man the least likely person in the world to be against a woman working. But yet somehow women create this narrative that he wants me to stay home. Black women in America have never had the opportunity to stay home. They have been working and participating and partnering their entire life throughout the history of America with their man. They have never stayed home. So I don't even understand that narrative.
Said it.
Every time somebody says, "Well, do y'all want us to stay home?" I'll be looking at people like, and it's like, who are these men?
Oh my God, there are so many of them.
So this is what
who's staying home.
This is what we need to do as ethnic people. This is what we do in America, and we need to stop it. We need to stay out of rich white folk business. That is a rich white folk problem. People staying home is a rich white folk thing.
Yep.
Okay. Unless you have the cultural background, okay, to say, like, maybe some Middle Eastern people, the mom is also probably a brain surgeon, but she's practiced for 10 years. She's done. She's going to move her mom in and they're going to take care of the kids for a little while. You might see those situations blossom, but usually people struggle together. They both work. They have, like, it goes across cultures. People be like, oh no, Asian women stay home. No, they don't. Go to the Chinese restaurant closest to you. Who's at the front counter? The woman. Who's in the back cooking? The man. So it's like, where do people stay home? I don't get it. It's the rarest thing you'll ever see.
So my parents, they did. My dad worked and my mom stayed home. They had 5 children and she was stay-at-home mom. But it was more like her going to work. That's 5 children in daycare.
I was gonna say, like, when it makes sense for you, you will see it. You'll see it in some cultures. But the funniest thing about that particular argument for the modern time, what woman do you know is willing to live under what the average man can provide? The average man. The highest salary for the average man in America is $57,000 a year. What woman do you know is willing to live under that? That is one car. Maybe if you get into 2 cars, it's going to have to be like a junk car, like a cash car. You see what I'm saying? That car insurance, that health insurance. So no, women are like, no, if I can just go work. I can just go work.
And I think if I may say, I've said it before, just exactly the way that you said it, Trigger. Like, you have to understand your history, your past, in order to understand what your present is, and understand that women were forced to, Black women were forced to go and to the field or to the houses and clean and all this. So these generations, or this has been taught, you know, through generations, women don't know, you have to work for this stuff. And also society, how, you know, America is, that they will make you a consumer. So they put this idea that you should have this car, you should have this lifestyle. So nobody wants to do the average, you know, income. And so women are forced to work to be in a better lifestyle together. Now, in my country, someone, because I do work with tourists a lot, and one tourist points something that was interesting to me. And he said, since we're talking about the roles, he said, it's kind of curious how your country still respect the roles. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, when I go to a restaurant, I see the front desk is a woman, but I see men at the restaurant doing the manual or the hard type of job. You see on the street they're building a bridge or something, mostly are men, and if there was one woman, she was just waving the flag, you know. And then he was like, you see the garden man, it's a man, it's not a woman. And I was like, I to me it's normal, but to him, he actually noticed every single one, and he pointed out every time he saw the difference, he will point it out to me. And I was like, oh. And then I have to say, when it comes to the roles in the house, I agree with Mike, because my grandparents were together till death, you know, do them apart. My grandpa is the one that taught me how to cook. My grandfather taught me how to cook. My grandma was cooking every day for love, because she was the one that had to stay. Now, 2 weeks ago, I learned that my grandma doesn't want to cook no more. She's buying food. They're buying food for her because she's tired. She's done cooking. She was cooking her entire life and nobody cooking for her. And I was like, I never saw it that way. I never thought about it until like I put myself, I'm the oldest grandkid, the oldest daughter, the oldest child. And my dad put a lot of responsibility over my shoulders, having to raise my siblings, cooking for my siblings, taking care of my siblings, and nobody took care of me. So I have that trauma with me, and I could relate with my grandpa, like with my grandma, having to do something that you're just doing because someone expects you to do it. But in reality, do you have to do it? You know? And I get it. She was doing it for love and all that, and she was being submissive, respecting her husband, supporting him. But the lifestyle that she had to agree and accommodate to, it was a different lifestyle that most people will not want to have,
right?
You know.
But she served that time. She deserves to have a seat. How old is she? How old is she?
Oh, she's 80.
Damn, 80. She doesn't need to be cooking anymore.
We got to do this. We got to do this thing though, where we got to do an inventory of what men are actually doing. Because definitely staying in the house and cooking, because I hear this a lot and it's kind of irking me. So take the man out the picture completely. So I just want to tell y'all something. Did y'all know that men are y'all full-time chauffeur? Add up all the hours that we've driven y'all around, y'all entire life.
I'll share, Kelly. I'll share it.
Add that up. So I don't even want to. It's not to combat the cooking thing. It's just like people really just negate everything men do in life. And I had somebody say, well, men, they say men are protectors. My man ain't never had to pick up his fist to hit nobody. I said, his presence is protection. Here's why. When have you ever heard a kid getting kidnapped from their father? It like literally the rarest thing in the world. The universal sign for protection is man with woman or man with woman and children. Do not confront. Man is there. What's the universal sign for vulnerability? Woman by herself, woman with children. His presence is your protection. Men spend a lifetime naturally protecting you, keeping their head on a swivel, keeping other people out your way, staring at people so they stop staring at you. So that's why I'm like, we have to really start. And men, we don't ask for appreciation for these things, but you're going to see Trigger Mike on every panel just letting people know these things, that we do our due diligence too. And you said it too, Saira. Women don't work outside the house. Men do all manual labor. All manual labor. That's still a thing, no matter what you do, because sometimes women physically can't do it, right? So all that stuff you needed moved, What is that in the garage? Can you go move this in the garage? Bring this grocery. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's just like, so nothing means nothing anymore.
Paint
I'm just
this,
saying,
cut
add
that.
all that stuff up. And that's why I said these are natural roles. We're all going to be doing the same thing, more or less, that we're doing now.
And you know what's funny?
You're not
It's
wrong.
just,
I
you know
love
what's
that.
funny? Sorry, Kelly.
I'm writing
But
this down.
the thing is, like, we're talking about, it's about roles and gender roles and all of this stuff. I'm just like, what videos, like, if it's anything that you watch, like, what do you like, what magazines, what you know, what trigger, what interests, you know, what sparks your interest. And the funny thing is, I being online, I kid you not, if I happen to have like an hour free, there's these guys that they mow lawns, and I will sit there and I will watch, like, damn, you know, I wish I could cut that lawn. Or someone's clearing a drain, and I'm like, and I'm watching them, like, because I did all that stuff with my grandpa when I was younger, and you know, just doing that stuff and just watching that stuff is like, I wish I could be doing that, like, or painting a house or something. This is something that we do. Like, it's just like, you know, you're talking about gender roles, is like, and I'm just wondering how many women are watching these videos, or watching. If I said, you three women, I gotta watch this guy put a snake up a drain and watch him clear it, and sit there. You know, and I literally just sit there and just watch him, just like, yo, that's dope.
Forge,
you know?
I watch Forge men make knives, and it's a lot of fun. But
So,
you know, it's fun. I mean, we do watch it.
It's not the thing of watching it, is watching it and experiencing it as well, knowing that I wouldn't just watch him. I would get down there, and you know, and some of it he's clearing out like sewers and stuff. You can see the shit floating down the thing.
So I'll say this.
You know?
I'll say this. When I turned 30, I bought my first home on my own. I wasn't married, so things break in the house. Sinks get clogged. My water heater broke. Something happened to my AC unit. I climbed up in the attic and I YouTubed it, and I figured out what was wrong. I took apart the sink and I had to snake it and unclog it. I had to find the element that was broken in the water heater, and my gutter broke. I had to get on a ladder. And yes, you can watch YouTube. You can figure these things out. You can do them yourself. But as far as gender roles are concerned, I don't want to have to do that shit. So I literally was.
That was my next question. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to.
Heck no, I don't want to be in no attic. But I was like, I don't have a husband. I don't have a boyfriend. Let me figure it out before I have to call someone. If I can try, if I can do it, I'll do it. But bro, I literally was like, I need to put out a husband application because I don't want to do this.
So let me tell you what I saw, because I didn't want to put them on Front Street. These were my neighbors across the street. Two of them are divorced, right? They must have got serious money for these big ass houses they got. But one of them has kids and one is older, right? And both of them were outside at the same time cutting their grass. And you know me, if you look at my shorts and stuff, I'll give it to them. But I didn't want to violate them like that. But I said, all right, here's one lady. She's probably she's like 55. The other one is mid 40s. I said, yes, these women can get out here and cut their own grass. Do you want to be doing it? Like, something about it looked so off. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's not just you cutting your grass this time. Are you cutting your grass next week and the week after and the week after? And it's like, at some point, I think the natural roles thing is they're going to get tired of it. Because people like, women garden. Yeah, women garden. They sit in their garden and with their herbs. Men cut grass. Men do hard labor. This sun is coming out soon.
Right.
This is Texas.
And
you want to do this in 100-degree weather.
People don't want to accept or admit it. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that, hey, I really don't want to do it. Like the water,
some people enjoy these things though. Like
they say they do it. They say they do it. They say they do it. I'm going to tell you something. This is the other side of the coin that probably nobody talks about, or not too many people. I was raised by my father. And I was with my grandfather all the time. My grandma was there. My grandma was the patient, the loving and caring mother. But my grandpa was the one teaching me everything that I know now. There's no man that likes a woman that knows how to use a drill. There's no man a woman that knows what type of screw. Hey, give me the star. I don't know how do you call the stuff in English, to be honest. The Phillips and star. So, I know all these things. And when I had to use them and I cut my fingers and I harm myself, I'm just screaming like, I don't want to have to do that. I struggle too much when a man just go, boop, boop,
Right.
boop, and boom, done. And I'm like, I spend like 30, 40 minutes on this thing because they're stronger. They can do it. They just have the physical skills, ability.
Right.
And I just know how to do it, but I don't have the practice. And I have to say, I struggle with that at some point because they think that, not masculine, because I am very feminine. But since I know how to use those things, I can be very judgmental to a modern man that doesn't know how to do it. So if a man doesn't know, that's a problem to them. That's an ego problem to that man.
No, it's not an ego. No, it's not an ego problem. It's not an ego problem.
Listen, the first problem is that men need to feel needed. You like that's actually our purpose. So it's like we'd rather be with someone else.
That person cannot even do it.
No, you're missing. You're missing it. You're missing it.
When we say women and the things that you can do, we all understand what a woman can do. We're trying to see there's a threshold to women. Like I know a woman that can change her oil, but can she change her own brakes? So it's always a limit. So you got to understand that if a man isn't practicing, he's deteriorating. So if you're just going to take all these roles from me and say, I'm doing this, well, if I'm not practicing it, I guarantee you this is what's going to happen. And I believe a woman who probably between 40 and 45, most women are going to start to do this. You're going to step in the way of whatever your man is doing, try to perform that role for him because it makes you feel good. All right. Then because he's not practicing it, he's losing the skill. Then because you're fed up at 45, like I'm just tired of doing this, you're going to try to throw it back at him because he's a man. Now he's out of practice and he's no good to you. He's the one thing he's never supposed to be at a man, which is absolutely useless, which is why women have always stepped out of the way and say, the one thing this man cannot be is useless. I'm going to let him, like being a man, especially being a father and all these things, it's a trial and error job. You have to let him fail over and over. That's how he becomes a master. I was trained to be a husband my whole life, but I didn't start practicing it till I became one, right?
Yep.
So it's like you gotta let him fail over, and that's why women in the femininity game, when we're talking about that, they step out of the way of the man. Yes, I can change my own oil, but I need him to do it so he never gets out of practice. Because you really don't want to be doing that if we're being honest. You see the way his mechanic fingers look? You see that black tar in the middle of the day? Do you want your fingers looking like that? Come on.
And I do agree with Fee. I think she was saying that, some people do enjoy that. When I first cut my grass, it was like I was proud. Like, it's my yard. I made it look beautiful. I wanted.
How you think a man feels?
Hold on. I didn't have a.
No, I gotta hear this. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't have a man at the time. And I did it. Like the first, I was like, oh, I'm so proud. Like, look at my yard. I did that. Okay. I did my little landscaping. It was beautiful. Curb appeal. But in Florida during the summer, you have to cut the grass every single week. And I got tired of that really fast. And I was like, you know what? This is for the birds. I'm hiring somebody. I'm not going to be out here cutting the grass and getting choco lot every single week. And it's hot. And I had a large yard. And my neighbor started cutting it for me because he saw me out there. He was like, I'm sorry, I just can't watch you push this thing every day. So he would take his rider mower and he would do it for me. And then I started hiring someone. And then I realized I had some trees that I want to cut down. And I started dating someone at this time. And I was out there like all day just hacking away at this tree. It was just
okay. I would have paid to see that. That'd have been funny.
He came with his axe, and in like 2 whacks, it was gone. I was just like, what was I doing all day? Like I had calluses on my hand. I was sweating. I was passed out. And he just came. He was like, it was done. I was like, oh my God. Like it's a job I can do. Why am I spending so much time wasting my precious time on something that a man can just do so quickly? So
that's a big divide we have right now in our because I think people think we're having a debate with women about what you can do. It's about what we are all better suited for. Yeah. Right. So I need men to kind of step up and say that, because men are too egalitarian. We're too democratic with that. Right. So I'm, Nigerian. I told you, my wife can't, the way when women be stepping in their man's way, my wife can't do that to me. I'm gonna be like, oh, if you don't take your happy ass back over here, this is my domain. But most men don't want to say that to their woman out of, the modern, or you're being gender roles and all that type of stuff. No, I don't let her. I know she ultimately doesn't want to be there. She wants to try it out, right? She wants to, be there and know that she can do it. It's all right. That's not what I need, from you. Please be married. I don't come into your spot, but telling you how to do your job,
Trigger Mike, do you feel like that could kind of like lean into control though?
No. So when I say that, so I've never actually been wrong. She actually doesn't really want to do the stuff that she's leaning in. The reason why I say better suited, it's I told you I was raised to be a husband, right? So that role, let's talk about discipline for a second. Men are the natural disciplinarians in their family, right? So I was taught that ultimately never let my wife, unless I'm harming the children, I can't let her outrank me in terms of discipline, because moms love. You want to protect your children, even from their father's discipline, right? So in the same token, I will never undercut my wife in terms of nurturing the children. Unless she's harming them, I can never outrank her in nurturing. If she says this hurts our child emotionally and I'm doing it, guess who outranks me in nurturing? She does. So that's the balance we have, where it's not me controlling, it's me having a better understanding of where we're both naturally capable. Mm-hmm. And as a man, as a good husband, you have to know it, because we live in a society now that lets women step over those boundaries and then blame men for being out of practice. Like I said, if she stepped into my disciplinary role and I just let her, I'm the fool. Because when you see how it goes with like teenage boys, when the single mom can no longer handle the boy, then she want to call the dad. You see what I'm saying? It's like that thing going. He should have never let her outrank him on that. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, I experienced that as well. I experienced that quite heavily with my son. And that's the thing. Like what I established from day one, and my kid's mom and her parents thought I was like, just being out of order, being out of line. And I had to constantly tell them, you'll be the friend, I'm going to be the parent. And to this day, when I have a conversation with my daughter or I have a conversation with my son, whether I'm right or if I'm wrong, if we're talking and, I obviously present something where I'm like, I'm going to be right, they buck down. And then they just let me have it. They don't let me have it because I'm bullying them or anything. They let me have it because they understand that I'm their leader.
Authority.
And if I'm the authority. I'm their leader. So if I'm sort of walking in a direction, if I'm guiding them, and if doubt is being cast upon me, then I'm gonna lead them down a wrong road. So it's like it teaches them affirmation basically and strengthens them. But I never had to touch my kids. I just, from day one, I made them understand I was the dad, and I just didn't play. I didn't play jokes. I didn't play games. I hugged them. I loved them. But I left all of that stuff, like what Mike's talking about, the nurturing, to the mom. And then I have two well-rounded kids right now. Well, they're adults now, but two well-rounded young people that, can make solid decisions for themselves. No problems, no tantrums, no nothing. And I'm, it's, and when I see people today, like, going, dealing with like you were talking about the kids earlier, like throwing tantrums. I work in a bike store, and kids come in there with their parents, and I'll be serving the parents, and kids be making the noise and whatever. I just stop. I say, excuse me, we have a problem here. And the parents look at me like, and I don't even break stride. So they're either going to buy the bike or they're going to leave. And most parents say, I told you you should be quiet, because they've been waiting for somebody to say something, because they don't know how to say it, which is what I've experienced with most people. They don't just tell their kids to stop. And I just like, once I put that once I put that mean mug on that, I'm like, yo, we need to stop. You guys need to stop right now. So I'm trying to serve this here, and then when you're done, you guys can play. But right now, you need to stop. Not in this store, not in my store. Can we do that? We good? Okay, cool. Give me a touch, and then they sit still. So it's just speaking to kids in the right way. You're just speaking to them in the right way.
Yeah, they will respect authority when there is no option. They don't give them an option. Like,
and the main problem is like, there, like Mike said, and someone else said, there's no fathers in the homes. There is there's just no guidance, no protection for the kids to protect them from themselves, so they can become the people that they need to be. So I mean, we are so and we're trying to make it right with these little platforms. We're reaching 1 or 2 people maybe, but the problem is massive, man. The problem is massive. So there's a lot of work to be done.
I'm not sure if I interrupted. Were you trying to say something?
No, I was just saying, like, I agree regarding, like, I think we both have important roles that we need to, like, it's set on us. And I think what it was, I think for me, because I'm in an engineering field, so I'm literally working with, like, my hands are getting dirty, like I'm getting like in it, shoveling, like doing all the stuff that, I'm working alongside men, and we're kind of like, they come to me sometimes for answers, right? So I feel like because of that, it's hard for me to kind of separate it when I'm at home and with my ex-husband. If I did let him take the lead a lot of times, I let him, wear the hat and wear the pants around the house, but a lot of times I was let down, right? I was like, it was not all men are leaders, right? Not all men are going to lead you to the right direction. So because of that, and we've lost a lot in that marriage, and I had to kind of rebuild it up. Now I see, okay, you know what? Like, I can do it by myself, but like I think Kelly and Sayera was saying, we don't want to. But the thing is, like, I rather literally like just struggle, like, to do this by myself than like give up my peace, right? Like, I have this peace now where I'm doing it on my own, and there's no, like, I don't have to walk on eggshells. That's like, why isn't the dinner cooked, or why isn't, like, the house clean, or why is, like, it's just
everything a man says. Everything you say is what a man says.
Everything a man says, and it's like I'm also working. So I'm working, coming home, cleaning the house, cooking, and making sure my daughter is good too. And then, I have to make sure that, your word is against mine. Whereas, like, we both should be able to kind of like work together and as a team. And I think in the other panels, I think Trigger Mike said, we don't hear it often from other men. Like, I hear it all the time. And Kelly, like, I'm hearing it from different men, and regarding, like, men are above women at all times, right? And, like, sometimes it's not the case. Sometimes there are men out there, I don't know what you call it, beta man, alpha man, I don't know, but there are characteristics of men out there who are like, who don't have the authority or the leadership skills to lead a woman. So what happens then? Like, do you not let that woman who is actually a good leader lead, because you have this, like, societal norm or societal expectation of a man leading, but you're not a good leader. So please.
So what gender are you? What gender are you? So you male or female?
Well, hold on.
I'm a survivor.
No, but no, you're male or female? Male or female? You'll classify yourself male or female?
So what are we calling when we say good leader?
Huh?
Like,
what do we mean by Mike, let me get this a second.
What do you think? No. Do I look like a man? What are we talking about?
You're talking to me like a man. Everything you're saying, like a man. This is like how we talk in the barbershop. Yeah, exactly. Everything you're saying. So if you're a female, if you are in your feminine, then you won't have a problem attracting that man that's gonna do what you need and move like you need. But you move like a man, so you're gonna attract. You're not gonna. How could someone as like with everything that you're saying attract someone like me? I can't be around you. Because I want to do the thing. No, listen to me. Listen a second. You're going to challenge that person like me that wants to be with you, because everything that I'm trying to do for you, you're coming along and saying, well, no, you don't do like this. You do like this. And the man, he never gets a chance to become a man because you're too busy being, playing his role. That's all I'm saying. It's just be more in your feminine.
It's really trying to play the role, but I think we have a bad understanding of what the term leader means. When women use that and say men have bad leadership skills, let's put it this way: most men are not leaders by authority. All right, so I'm a leader by authority because I'm an eldest child. I was literally put in a leadership role my entire life when I didn't even want to be there. Right? Take your cousins here. You watch out for them. Like, I have a watchful eye. Like, everything in my life, I've been put in a leadership position because I have those qualities. That is a leader by authority. right? So most men aren't that by order in which they're born. Most men are not that. But let me tell you what leader actually means in the terms of a home, because it's really not so much a man being a leader. It's actually a woman being a follower. Let me give you a scenario. God forbid anything like this ever really happened, right? I don't know, you got mad, you got upset, maybe you got laid off or something. Your daughter was just out of control, wild. You snatch her up by her arm and you break it. You have to call the 911, the ambulance or something. You are a child psychologist, right? So you can never have a child abuse case on your hands. The police show up and says somebody has to go to jail for this. Who's going, you or your husband?
The husband.
The husband. You see, that is the way men lead and protect their families every day, where it's like you have to understand your role in the house to say, I'm the one who's always going to be here to take the brunt of the catastrophic failure that could befall this family, right? So we use the analogy of men driving you everywhere. That is what is meant by leading. So let's use that for an example. Do you think it weighs the same if a husband said, we're going on a 14-hour road trip, you crash the car and both of the children die? Do you take the blame all by yourself? He was too lazy to drive, and you crashed it and killed both kids. Do you think the world is going to look at that the same? No. They're not going to say, oh my goodness, what happened? They're going to say, why weren't you driving, man? That's the way the world treats men. So you got to understand that women are always willing to step in front of men for the glory. You're never willing to step in front for the blame. And I would be a full idiot to let anyone step in front of me if I'm the one who's ultimately going to take the blame. That is the way men need to look at it. You always need to be in front, because when women have an advantage over men to where you can always step back into being a female whenever you're ready to. As soon as the kitchen get too hot, as soon as you don't like what's going on, you don't like the situation, you can rest in your femininity, and he always has to take over. You can do that. I can never. I can never do that.
You know what the problem is
That's deep.
competition. It's kind of like a competition thing that and I get it. I am from the outside thinking a man that says we're not the same. We're not the same. We're totally different. We're not equal, but we're both worth the same to one above, if you believe that. So when it comes to humanity, we need each other to complement each other, to procreate together. So you don't have my organs, extra organs that I have to give life, and I don't have your seeds because I cannot do it on my own. Men cannot do it on their own. That's the way I see it. So yes, we're different. And so I think women think about like, oh, they're saying that we're different, so that means that I'm less. That's not what they're saying. I don't think that's what men means that. And honestly, I've never heard a married man that thinks that his wife is less than him. The only men that think that is the men that are not married. It's the men that are not married, to be honest.
She's the world. She's the world. She's everything.
For real.
And I think women can lead other women, and we can influence men.
Okay.
But we cannot lead them. That's different. And I think there is big power in influencing people.
Ooh,
just like influencing on media, you know, they get a lot of followers. Yes, you're influencing a lot of people. So you have power when you influence someone, but there is positive influence and negative influence. So you can actually do something positive for someone for influencing a man, but also men. I think this is the problem that men, not every man is a leader. I agree with you. And men think that leading is giving an order. Do this because I want to. That's not a leader. A leader will influence people. People follow leaders because they respect them, because they actually see the leadership skills in them, not just because you say you're a leader and now I have to follow you. And that's where I see the difference, that a lot of men are doing that now. Oh, you have to because we're men. No. You have to prove that you are a leader because you're asking me to trust you with my life. And if I'm asking here the men on the chat and you guys, is there any man that you will trust you with your life? Is there any other men right now that you will trust you with your life? Do you see how powerful that is?
Well, I have a brother.
Trust
Yeah.
trust
Yeah, but
everything
we
that
have a
the boy you
circle.
say.
Homeboy.
So
We have
so
circles.
out of all of the people in the world, you
I've
mentioned
went to
one
war with guys
person,
before.
No,
right?
I have
So
a circle. I have a
you will
circle.
trust whatever you have right now, whatever you know,
Yeah.
the knowledge that you have, everything that you have, you trust them blindly with your life.
In
That's
my
what you're
circle.
asking. So
Yes,
do.
you as yes,
No,
you
the
have a
circle is
network.
small. Yeah, I see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
it's small, but
it has to
we
be
have
very small. It has to be very small.
it.
So
It
the
can't
only
be. It
men
can't be big. It can't be big.
I'm gonna tell you something. I cannot even trust my brothers. I cannot even trust I know that they will not do anything to hurt me, but the only man I can trust is my dad right now. I don't have a husband, but
So
I want to say one day I will trust my husband, with everything I have. My brothers will not allow nothing to happen to me. They will guide me. I will listen to them and everything. But do I trust them blindly?
That's a good
I don't
point.
think I feel
Yeah.
that, I have two brothers, four.
you said something that was very impactful because you'll notice, Saira Kelly and F. Robinson, even though we talk about women being in more of the supportive role, following, I've never actually said this. I've never said a woman wasn't powerful. I think the issue right now is that women don't understand their actual superpower. You're doing what
I
call
say that all the
role.
time, Mike.
Yeah,
I
There's
say
so
that
much
all the
power in
time.
submission.
You're
There's so
doing
much
what
power in submission.
you're doing what I call role encroachment. You're trying to encroach in my role, which means that you got to, like a lot of Western women do this. You neglect feminine roles and put yourself into masculine roles. So you're not as great of a woman as the great women. You're damn sure not a man. So you're never going to be as great as a man. So you're actually weakening your position in society by doing that. I want to give you a scenario real quick about the power of a woman. The modern woman would do this. Two boys are in the dirt fighting over a treasure. A girl walks by, a modern woman, and says, I want some treasure too. What does she do? That's a question to y'all.
Gets in the dirt and fights.
Gets in the dirt and starts fighting with the boys and gets bloodied up and knocked the hell out. All right. While one of them eventually went and take the treasure. A powerful woman knows that her superpower is not strength. It's not getting down there and doing what the boys doing. She waits for one of them to win and dabs his face up with a towel. Are you okay? Oh my goodness. This treasure is so lovely. Can I hold it and can we share it? She willingly just got a man to share with her half or all the damn treasure. It doesn't have a scratch on her. That is the power of a woman. That is the influence of a woman. Your superpower is persuasion. It is not strength. You see what I'm saying? It's
the
persuasion.
men will do anything that you want.
Like, so while the most powerful woman on this earth is a persuader. She is somebody who knows how to, kind of dabble herself around. And this is how powerful women can be. You are the only person. A woman is the only person that can have the mind and influence multiple power structures at the same time. You can be in the ear of more powerful men at the same time, and a man can't do that. A man smells another powerful man coming, he's putting a wall up. But a woman, he won't do that. You see what I'm saying?
Right. No, I see what you're saying. I was just wanting to say, like, previously you mentioned that most men, I think you gave a percentage of black men in black brown men in America were raised by single mothers, right? And these single mothers, we had no choice. I'm a single mother myself, so I can say we had no choice but to be strong, no choice but to be the protector of our kids, right? So we had to play that role because the man left, or the men did not want to be present in the kids' home anymore because they couldn't keep that family together, right? So we had to take on that role. We had no choice to protect our children, right? We had to be the mother bear. So yes, like sometimes I would love to be in that
Robinson,
sorry.
Respectfully, I do understand as a woman where you're coming from, but that's a position that we choose to be. Because I knew from the moment, because you asked me earlier if I, ever thought about, or how was the relationship with my daughter's father. I am a single mother, but from the moment I left the house, the first person I called was my father. And I've been living under his roof for the last 9 years because I knew that my daughter needed. Hold on, wait. I understand that society do that to you. Society do that to you because you don't have family to support you and like those things, but you put yourself in that position in a way because I could have thought, oh, I can do it myself. I'm going to go struggle and put myself in a vulnerable position where multiple men can come into my life, come and go, and introduce these people to my daughter. I will never do that to her. No, I decided from the moment I left the house, I knew that that's not what I wanted. I wanted emotional stability for her. I wanted, physical stability for her. And I wanted a role, a father in her life. And I was like, who's the best father? And that moment, I didn't know if her father was going to be around. But my dad is her dad. But she also has her father.
Right. No, I totally get what you're saying. You had resources, and some women don't have those resources. And I think I would never really choose to put my daughter in a situation where she's struggling or where she doesn't, is in a toxic situation. I actually chose to leave a toxic situation. That is why I was looked down upon for calling, reinforcements against that toxic situation, right? So there's so many like variables that we have to go through, and a lot of like women are not the same. We don't live the same life. But I can only speak anecdotal point of view, right? Whereas like, yeah, I had to take on that role. So we can't say like every situation is the same, right? Like I had nobody. I'm an immigrant. I don't have family like back home. Back home, I have 13 aunts and uncles who would love to take care of me. Right now, I have nobody, right? I only have
I totally understand it.
Right?
I totally understand it. Do you have any friends, like people that you trust?
Right. Exactly. I have friends, but the thing is, because I think we spoke on it on a couple panels ago, that like I do have trust issues because I had child molestation and child abuse at a young age. So I don't trust people to keep my child, just anybody around my child. I don't even date. I don't even bring people to my house. And like I have men friends who I call brothers, who I made family, like friends who are family now. And I'm opening myself in that, like in the light of like, hey, you know what? I need to be relaxed. I need to like stop losing hair. I need to relax a little bit, right?
Yes,
so I'm starting to give trust to people, but I'm still like, we have to understand a lot of people, we're not perfect. We're broken with like gold that we're trying to put together at the bars, right? We're trying to put ourselves back together with gold. And it's hard, right? So like, yes, I mean, I want to be I want to be a feminine woman. I loved being a wife to my husband. Okay.
You're mute.
Sorry.
You're muted, Trigger Mike.
I think she said simp. Did you say simp?
No, feminine. I want to be a feminine woman. Like,
I want to be a simp. I was like,
it sounded like I was like,
Sorry, no, but I mean, I love being a wife to my husband, right? I loved him coming home, and I loved caring to him, but not finding out that it wasn't appreciated, and it was taken advantage of, and it wasn't enough, and things were like, we're human beings, we're individuals, we're so complex. Nobody's gonna understand. We're not gonna understand each other, no matter how.
I disagree. We're very simple.
Well, I think
at least men are.
I think men are simple, yeah, for sure. But I do want to bring
but I don't think men are that simple though, because men don't share their emotions or feelings like that.
We don't need to. Just give me the lawnmower. I'm happy. I'm good. I'm letting everything go in the lawnmower. Cutting the lawn.
I'm gonna talk to you later because I'm writing a book called Men Are Simple. They're like 5 things. That's all I need, and they're happy. So I want to say something. I do want to bring light to a scenario, because I know we always talk about men are leaders, natural leaders. Women should just follow men. But I also feel like when you're leading, that means you're heading in a direction. Mm-hmm. And a lot of men don't know what they're going. They don't know their purpose in life. They don't know what they want to do. So they don't even know where they're leading you to, because they don't know where.
My son. Say something. I have an analogy.
Yes, you're exactly right, Kelly. You're exactly right, Kelly. Go ahead.
I have a friend, and I wanted to bring this up because we talk about how you should just follow a man. Right, cool. I have a friend who called me recently, and she was crying, asking me to send her money because her husband, who was Nigerian, from Nigeria, straight up. And I'm just saying, like, because of the way he thinks, from his culture, like, man is king. He was God. She was the servant role. He doesn't allow her to work. he's the dominant everything. I even asked her if she wanted to come on the panel. She just looked at me and she said, I can't. He will not allow it. So she called me and she said, crying, she's like, can you let me borrow some money? Because he won't give me money because he put hands on her the night before and he didn't want her to leave. So he did not allow her to have any money. And she was at the store and he emptied out of her account because she was trying to buy groceries for the kids, but he didn't want her to leave. So he took money away from her. She couldn't even buy groceries. So I had to cash app her $100 just so she could buy groceries for her kids. So some men take that leadership role and it can transfer into control. And that's where the balance I'm talking about. You can't just follow every man. Every man is not.
That's not leadership.
That's what I was telling you.
So,
It's not.
That's not
it's
leadership.
That's
All
not
right.
leadership.
Right,
there
but
is
these
no.
things do happen. And I think people forget that there is a reality that
Absolutely.
people don't talk about.
So you'll never hear me argue with that saying that some men aren't fit. But here's the issue. Is your friend American? I don't know. In fact, it actually don't even matter.
She's from Nigeria. She is.
I was gonna say it don't even matter.
Yeah.
What nationality she is. There have always been, like, literally, there is no shortage. There are no more simps or degenerate men than there have been throughout history. These men have existed since times immemorial, right? They've always existed. The issue that I have is that the modern, everything you said was 100% facts. These men have no vision. They have no direction. Even when taught, some men aren't intent on doing things the right way. They're not benevolent at all. The issue that we're having is that these men also traditionally were never good candidates for procreation in the first place. Women are naturally hypergamous, which means you want the best for yourself. How the hell did some of these dudes end up with kids? That's my issue, right? So women decided to take it upon themselves to start dating, and they took the courting game completely out, right? It's better for your family to vet the man you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life. Your father was supposed to make that choice for you, or your uncle, your grandfather, a man who's done it, who's done the deed that you admire, so he could spot those great qualities. Right now, all we hear from is complaints in modern society about women who chose these men. That's it. So that's my big deal with it. It's like my own daughter can't come to me complaining about a man she chose and left me out of. She couldn't do it.
But we can't be so rigid because people change, Trigger Mike. People
nope,
change.
people don't change.
People change. No, but people will show you. There's math. You have
not only so just like Kelly said, if that dude, especially being Nigerian, they probably did have a courting process. That is an outlier, right? So as bad as it is, it's an outlier. Most men are not out here putting hands on their wife. They're not. The statistics say that. Right? Most men are not out here cheating. Most men are not out here doing it. So that's an outlier, and it does happen. Yes. But if we started doing this the right way, it would definitely not be the norm ever.
It would knock out the outliers because somebody in the family would catch it.
Exactly. I don't like that. Think about it this way. People are upset and complaining about men when your family met them a year and a half after you start dating them, a year after you start dating them. My particular advice to women, if you're going to keep dating, get your family involved early. All your elders involved early. If you think the person is serious, first off, I'm going to just go out and say it. 50% of men won't even want to be with you after that. They won't even want to meet them. They're like, whoa, you about to take me to who?
That's a little serious.
That's a little serious. You know, I don't know if we there yet, because they know they're about to be put on the spot. So, that's my issue. It's not that men are all benevolent and we're all good leaders. No. These men that do these things were never supposed to be eligible to have their bloodlines further. Some women are hypergamous by nature. That is your choice to be that. So you have the choice of who you give that body to, right? You're supposed to be. I mean, think about it this way: if only good men were out here getting the ass, everybody would want to be a good man, because all men need some ass. Is that?
Mm-hmm. And it's easier to say, it's easier to say it's his fault because he didn't appreciate me when I gave him my body, instead of saying, you know what, I saw the red flags and I didn't do anything about it. I just kept going. Because if I take accountability for my relationship that I had, my sisters didn't like my daughter's father because he had an attitude with them. I saw that attitude on day one, but I was giving him the benefit of the doubt.
That was the American in him.
He exploded like this. He exploded like this. And
is he black? I'm sorry. I didn't want to ask. No. I don't know. You said he grew up in America. That's why I was like, He's
Yeah.
snapping at
No,
you.
no, he's from here, but he grew up. But you know what? He grew up around. I'm not gonna
Well,
say.
I mean, I
I'm gonna
figured.
get-
Don't I, like we're not gonna go there, but I figured. I'm just saying. He
No,
spent 30
he
years in
really
America.
like.
He picked up some of these
He
habits.
was very aggressive, and obviously, eventually,
It's an American thing.
he didn't show this aggression early, because that's what happened when I think and I understand when she said people change. They don't change. They're just hiding that. They're just covering. They're wearing a mask. They're not changing. That's what it is. That's why the 90-day rule, I believe in it. And I wanted to say that this last time.
Where's JR's sound effects? What?
This last time, I was dating a black man, and my grandmother told me. I brought him to the family. You know, I introduced him because he really had good intentions. He got good intentions. I'm not gonna lie, but from early, I started noticing certain things that I wasn't comfortable, and I brought him to the house, and my grandma said, she actually made me think about it, and she's like, "You really have to think about it. I don't think that he's the right one." But deep inside, I knew what was happening. I knew the things that were going through my head. I am seeing the red flags. And she said, "No, he's not the one." And I obeyed her. And she was right. She was right. So
that's important of courting.
Sorry.
Because people are going to be their true selves around their family members. That's why you should meet them around you should see you around your family. Because you can pretend to be whatever you want to be outside those walls, but whatever your sister does to trigger you or your parents do, you're going to see their true colors within their family. So I think it is important to meet the family first. And if a guy doesn't want to meet your family, he's not serious about you.
You know what? Miss Robinson, you said something that is like really interesting, and this is something that a lot of women that I've noticed that we were talking back and forth, and then I was saying something, and you said that I would never be for you, basically my type of personality would never be for you. But this is what I don't understand. So I've had that said to me from other women that I've been talking to or whatnot. And these women, they require a certain thing. They need a man that's, dependable. He's got a good job, making good money. He's going to be home all the time. He's going to be there for when you need him. And, just all the things that you need. He ticks all those boxes. But you don't pick this man. I don't understand. Like and he's not flashy. He's not got whatever. But he's solid. I mean, he's solid. He would have your back, everything you need, but you don't pick him. And you speak to these guys like, week in and week out, sitting at the barbershop, and like, yo, they ask him like, what's wrong with me? And
they can get him on sale though. You can get him on sale.
I think
he's in his first marriage right now. He's gonna get out of it pretty soon, and you can get him on sale.
But you get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to have a dig at you or anything.
They're gonna want them by the time they're 45. So you'll get them on sale. Don't worry.
I think what it is, I think when you mention, like when you tell a woman like if she's a man or a female, like it just doesn't entice me. Right. So
no, it's not supposed to entice you. It's supposed to. It's a reality thing. Like it's for you to hear a man. I have no interest in you, and it's for you to hear this. This is what you sound like. So if you sound like that to me, imagine the average guy that you're just talking to that you may be interested in. He's be like, yo, you got to think about the red flags you're putting up. And there's a lot of women out there that are listening that are like this, So that's all.
No, I do get what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. I think it can be perceived that way. However, like I think when we're speaking about on the topic and we're actually having that conversation, I did mention like, hey, I think because I work in a male-dominated field and I'm around men, I'm literally the only woman in the shop, right? So I mean, I have to literally, I can't be all feminine, pick my pinky up and say, no, you pick the bar. No, you go get the bar and put it in the machine. I can't do that. They'll look at you and be like, hey, you came here, you went to school for this, right? So you do the job and I do it, right? So I can't, it's like, and that's when I say, I'm like, I have, like, it's like me separating the two. You can't.
You chose the role. You chose the role.
You see, I told you, you choose the position. You put yourself in that position.
You chose the role. If you're going to be the
I enjoy fixing machines. I enjoy.
That's fine. No one's taking that from you. No one's taking that from you. You pick the role. I was gonna say that
we're supposed to have we're supposed to be able to lift a certain amount. And me and this other girl, we have the same position. We're both licensed opticians, and we're supposed to be able to lift certain things, do things. And she's like always, "Oh, I got this. I'll do it." She's picking up stuff and breaking her nails, and I'm like, "Excuse me, sir, do you mind helping me lift this?" And then she'll be like, "Okay," and they'll run right over and do it. I that might not be the position you're in, but I'm not breaking my nails. They cost me $100.
No,
well,
but other women will judge you. Nobody says that. Other women will judge you, and some men will also judge you. But you're supposed to remain in that femininity.
It's not about. So right now we're at a time. Remember, men have never stopped. We don't stop women from doing what they want to do. All right, so it's not about what you can do or what you chose to do. It's the longevity part of it. When we're talking about the disparities between men and women, how long are you gonna want to do that till you get tired of it?
You mean right? like how long can a female's body take it?
So right now, when you really look, no, not I don't mean that way. Right now, the U.S. economy is actually being driven down. Like we went into a recession, partly because we can't get women to go back to work after the pandemic, right? So that's an issue in the sense that they're building the economy off women working. Because now women are in the workforce more than men, which is nowhere near a bad thing. But when you look at certain jobs that they're trying to press and they're doing targeted campaigns to get women into certain fields, it's like when even in Scandinavia, where they made gender equality the purpose of their law, when you separate and allow women to make their own decisions, y'all will go into nursing more. You will stay home more. You'll do all these things, and men will go back into all the dangerous jobs. So what we're doing is we're wasting time saying, well, women can do. Has anybody focused on what women want to do by and large? Not the outliers like F. Robinson. What do most women want to do, right? Because y'all take more breaks in the workforce, just like the pandemic made y'all take a break. Some women didn't come back. They just want to focus on staying home and raising their kids, right? So it's like when you build an economy off of what you think women will do, we will ultimately be in a recession every 5 years because y'all primary agency is to have the ability to change your mind. If somebody took that away from y'all would all go crazy. Men cannot change their mind. We cannot change our mind one day and say, I don't want to do roofs no more. Like you have to do whatever you're doing to survive. For some reason, somebody gonna take care of a woman. They're called women and children's shelters, not men's shelters. Right. So it's like, I get what you're saying, but you're an outlier, F. Robinson. Like, we have to understand that you got to do this life the way it's meant to be done. Primarily, always make space for women who want to. And we do. Women who want to try stuff. I'll give you a hard number. Do you believe women should be in the infantry and the military? Like fighting on the front lines if they want to? Yeah. Okay. So does the government. Since 2015, they've made it possible for women to join the military. Since that time, 687 women have joined. 55,000 men have joined to be in the infantry. That's a little bit over 1% of infantry women. But billions of dollars have to be spent on the facilities and the supplies to mobilize them into war. So would you say 687 women is worth $1 billion? No. Every country would be like, axe that program. What the hell are we doing? You see what I'm saying? So we're like marketing gender equality here when we should be doing the opposite. That's all I'm saying.
And can I ask a question about that? I heard also that women join the military, but they don't actually go to war or combat. Like, well, yeah, they are not actually. They just join, but they are not.
99.9% of women in the military are in support roles. Well, I'm sorry, 99% of men and women. Like, there, very few people do combat roles like I did. Right. So I was a Fleet Marine Force corpsman on the ground with the grunt Marines, the infantry. So I was if you've seen like Battle of LA, and the guy was Nigerian too, the person they called Doc. Like, yeah. So that's what I did in the military. Less than 1% of people in the military are combat oriented positions. Right. So that's men and women. But even like I said, when they made it the purpose of the law to say women can do it, In 7 years, 687 women signed up, 55,000 men signed up. Because women don't want to go to war. Why are we advertising that?
That doesn't make sense. Women
I
at
also
war,
have a
because
question about it.
how does
Not even as a nurse, not
but
even
how do we keep
not even as a-
sorry, how do we keep the population going if women are going to war and women are getting killed and whatnot, and like at the same rate as men? So that doesn't
don't
make
even
sense.
look at it like that. This is where we have to like be cautious, right? Because earlier we were talking about female prime ministers and stuff. That's cool. Like, y'all, I understand with women, especially in the social construct, it is extremely hard to tell the difference between a man and a woman in the normal distribution of productivity, right? My job, the vice president is a woman. My corporate director is a woman, right? So it's like, yeah, in the social construct of things, women lead all the time. The difference is when you start to add stress into the situation. Like I said, women have the advantage to retreat back to being women. And there can be women prime ministers, there can be women war leaders. The issue that I see is that what's going to happen when a woman is in charge of the largest military superpower on earth? All right. I pray for Joe Biden's health every day. Do you know why? And I'm a conservative.
Kamala Harris.
Because if he dies,
Kamala Harris.
No, not just Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi. Kamala Harris is the president. Nancy Pelosi is the vice president. And it's not that they would do a phenomenal job administratively. I believe that if you can be a congressman, a senator, you can vice president, you can absolutely be the president of the United States, because it's a figurehead job. They actually don't do much, right? But what are the other authoritarian leaders going to think? Are you think they're going to look at us as a militarily strong country or militarily weak? Bombs are going to start dropping on our head.
Do you think they look at us as militarily strong with Biden?
Yes. So can I prove it to you, Kelly?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
When I was in the service, Obama was the president. His nickname was Bomber in Chief. All right. He was the longest serving president during the span of the Afghanistan-Iraq wars. He did a full 8 years. No other president did that much time with those wars. His nickname was Bomber in Chief. He killed more women and children than any president did in that war. And here's why. Obama, as you know, is the nicest guy anybody could ever meet. You know why he did that? Because he's a man. He understands, if I don't kill those children, you're going to come to kill mine. Basic fundamental biology of any man. Now put Kamala Harris in that role and say, we have to bomb this village, high value targets. There will be women and children casualties. What do you think her first question is going to be?
Is there any way we can
save the children?
Do we have to kill the?
Can we save the children?
In the next 15 minutes, they're going to, launch the uranium or whatever, and be one step closer in their nuclear program to launch one at us. They won't do it. It's not their hardwiring. They're going to say, well, let's just wait till we get no casualties. It doesn't happen. They make sure they infiltrate these towns so they're insulated by the women and children, which is why they're collateral damage when a man is in the role. They know a man will bomb them, because if I don't kill your children, you will come kill mine. It's a scientific fact, right? So that's the conflict. Anybody wants to say that we're militarily weak, put a conflict of conscience there in the office. Not necessarily that the women are weak. Like I said, they can do the job of president. I have no doubt. But that conflict of conscience, when it comes to that military stuff, is where I'm moving to. I already said we're moving to Belize. Like, we're looking at a house in Panama, where, because if that happens, I'm out. They're gonna start bombing this spot. I'm telling you.
I wanted to just add that I have an analogy that my grandpa told me one time. I was like, do you think that you are the head of the house? I asked him. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, why? Well, you have a body, right? You have a head and you have a body. The head cannot go anywhere without the body. And your grandma's the body. And I was like, that was beautiful, because at the end of the day, he's the man. And he said it with these words. I am the man that I am right now and today because of her. Mm-hmm. And I will not go anywhere without her support. She will, and this is why I say, like, there's support, but at the same time also guiding. We are following, yes, but at the same time we're also guiding from behind, the way I see it. Like, it doesn't look like, but we influence the man with the power that we had, and that's why I say the influence can be positive or negative. So a woman can influence a man to do positive things or negative things. So that's why men have to be also careful with it. That doesn't mean that the woman is more powerful than them, but the man has to be very careful with the power of the woman, or the power that that woman has over him.
Syra, you hit it on the head. I mean, look at when men win awards, actors, sports figures, who do they thank?
Their wife and God.
Literally the first person.
Their wife and God.
Their wife, exactly. So it's like men have always known this. We've always known. That's why it's a YouTube talking point to act like men don't appreciate and need the support. It's scripture. What you just said is scripture. Okay? The term help me, people don't even understand that it has the word help in it. I don't accept that the rhetoric from men either. They don't need help. It's not called mates. It's called help mate. You need help, fool. Like, you see what I'm saying? So like, I don't understand why, a lot of people don't understand that this is a synergistic process. All right. Most men that think that they are complete or that they're doing something without the support of a woman, that's great, but you don't know the heights that you could go with that support. Right. So if you look, 80% of CEOs are what? Married. Mm-hmm. The proof is in the pudding. Just look at high earning, high achieving people. What are they doing? They are married. They're trying to put their life in order in that specific way, have the support of a woman, attach it to their legacy, make sure their legend is guided a certain way. It's never been about a woman being less than. A woman who is staying true to her feminine role is so powerful. But right now we have women, like I said, trying to have one foot in the feminine role, one foot in the masculine role. You're nowhere near the greatest woman you could be. You damn sure ain't gonna beat me at being a man. So
I love that you said that, Trigger Mike, because I listen to a lot of like millionaire podcasts, right? And almost every one of them said how important it is for his family to be together. Like his like their business would not work if their family is not together. And who's the rock of the family is the woman.
Yeah, the man can't even focus on taking care of business if the house isn't taken care of. They need that. They need that camaraderie.
Well, in order for you to be that rock, you have to be that rock.
Like,
you can. It's not like it's the same thing that you were saying about men. Oh, they want to be the leaders just because they were born a man. But the same, we want a man to do whatever we want just because we're a woman and we're giving benefits. When in reality, we have to be that rock. We have to be that supporter. And that's the difference. Like, we are asking for them, but we don't want to be.
We don't want to come into a rock.
No, you say I want to be the wife for my husband.
Yeah, you want to be the wife.
Until I get the ring.
Yeah, we've been at work punching walls and kicking people. And we don't want to come home to a rock. We want to come home to something soft.
Right, let's take this. Let's take men out of it. Let's take men out of it for a second, because I was thinking about this earlier today. Because let's just focus solely on the woman, right? Women are relentlessly focused on being superb, excellent career women right now, right? But I've never heard, I'm telling you, it's extremely rare. I've never heard of a superb career woman winning Mother of the Year. There are 24 hours in a day. Okay? 24 hours in a day. If you are doing one in like literally the best you could do it, you're lacking in the other. This is why it's important for men to choose their women carefully, because I want a woman that is so relentlessly focused on the mother role. She can be excellent at work, but literally will drop everything and curse everyone in the name of her children and her family. That is literally, she's no good to me if she doesn't have that mentality. She's just another man. And why do I need another nigga in my house? I'm going to find a woman that like literally thinks that way if she wasn't that way, right? So
oh my God. And
you gotta like think
wrong.
about it.
You're not wrong.
What man? So Elon Musk is, I mean, literally going back and forth for the richest man of the year, right? One of his kids just emancipated themselves from him. There are only 24 hours in a day. He can be the greatest businessman on the face of this earth. He'll never be a better father than me, right? So you got to think of about what men are actually asking for. We're asking for balance. That's it. You can't be overly focused on your job and your career and all of this because I need you. That's my purpose, to be honest. That's what I said. Role encroachment. The way I serve this family is to make sure a roof is over your head, food is on the table, and I'm a cleanup man at all times. Anything that needs to be done that's going to put stress on someone, it's my role first before it's anybody else's. Right? That's my role. Your role is to focus because and what the other point I wanted to make about motherhood, every single mother I know, we're in a national organization for, excellent mothers, superb mothers and all that type of stuff. Well, my wife is anyway. All right. Every single woman that focused on her career regrets it. Every single one. They are in personal groups crying because their kids don't relate to them a certain way. They're closer with other family members or their father, right? Because they focus too much on the career aspect and now they can't get that critical time. It's like that bond happens, like pre-adolescence, right? They weren't focused on the child. So now that bond is pretty much lost, especially for the girls. Y'all know how the girls don't have a connection with their mother that way. I don't know how you get that back.
I agree with that. When I got promoted at my job, I remember I spent so many hours at work. I was up and I left before my son woke up for school. I would have all his clothes picked out, his lunch packed. My mom would put him on the bus for me. I left before he woke up. And then sometimes I would stay so late at work. He was in bed before I got home. And he was only like 5 or 6, I think 5 at the time. He was in kindergarten. And he said to me after about a month or so, he's like, "Mommy, do you hate me?" And I was like, "Why would you say that? Of course, everything I'm doing is for you, making more money." And he was like, "Because I never see you anymore." Like, he didn't give a damn how much money I was making at work.
He
cared that he didn't get. I was like, F this. That's when I quit my stupid job. I went back to school and now I have a higher paying job that frees up my time because that is more important to me than freaking climbing the corporate ladder. I was like, what? No, I don't want you to think that. And I'm thinking I'm doing something great because I'm making all this money for my son, got promoted. But at the end of the day, he really just cares about spending time with me.
I encourage, how we tell women to date men 10 years older than them.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage women to only get mentorship and advice from women 20 years older. Right now, it's friend talking to friend talking to friend. Everybody lost, everybody blind. Only take advice from women 20 years older than you. I have not met a single 50-year-old woman talking this independent woman bullcrap. Yeah. Not one. And I made the mistake of thinking that feminism and the independent woman narrative started with millennials. It started with Gen X. This stuff started in the 70s.
Okay, the hippie, free to be me.
Exactly. It all started back then. So now those women are 50, 55, 60 years old. Like, I made a mistake, girl. I made a full mistake. I don't know what I was thinking.
I remember my mom, because she stayed at home mom of 5 children, and her goal was to be a wife and a mother. Like, that was her goal. And I thought to myself, how weak my mother is. Like, she had no other aspirations in life. When I was younger, I thought this. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with her? Like, you didn't want to do anything else with your life. You wanted to be a mom. And then we lost my father last year. And I was thinking to myself, what if she didn't have any kids? Who would she be with? Because her mom died this year. Her father died last year. And her husband died last year. If she would have been focused on her career and didn't have children, we all take care of her now. She lives with me. There's nothing she wants for, because she had 5 children that will make sure she does not want for anything. What if she had no kids? What if her goal was to be a career woman? She'd be alone with no one to talk to, no one to cry to during the holidays, and all her family members are gone.
I said it earlier, women will judge you for that, because I said it one time in one of the panels. I said, I want to be a wife. I want to stay home with my daughter, with my kids. I want to raise my kids. I want to show her. Well, my daughter knows how to cook. She's 10 years old. I taught her since pandemic. Well, before that, actually, she knows how to cook. And, I want to do that. I want to spend my time with her. But if I say it aloud, women will judge you more than men. And men, some men, the ones that cannot support a house with one, with just their salary or their budget, they will say, no, I need a woman that works. And they will also judge me, because that's the reality. Some men need help, but they don't want to say it, which is also something that a lot of people don't say, And if you need, this is something I have, if you need a woman to help you because you cannot support a household, it's understandable. And you will get that woman. You can have that woman. The only difference is that if you need her, now she needs you for the roles in the house. Because if she's meeting you halfway or whatever, 30%, 40%, now you have to, put more effort, because you cannot be asking her for her to work and invest time and complete a shift and do the mother and the wife and the everything. Come on, that's the thing that I see a lot of men, and this is one thing in my culture. If the reality in El Salvador is that the minimum wage is $365, and we use currency, dollar as a currency, $365 a month.
What?
A month. Yes, a month. And the gallon of milk is
Is a month
$5.
7 days? Is a month 3 days?
Exactly. You see, exactly. So a man, and so the reality of El Salvador is that a man needs a woman. And the way we do it here, my dad works. Well, my dad has 6 children, and my stepmom met my dad with children. And she has 1 children. So it's my kids, your kids, and our family. So
what's the number again? Can you say? I want
$365 a month. Look it up.
Now I know why. Never mind.
The president of El Salvador earns $5,000 a month.
Time out. So wait, how much is like the average?
Y'all don't even do y'all president right.
What's the mortgage? Like average?
That's the thing. A lot of people here don't do mortgage, but the people that own houses is more like they inherit from their parents.
Themselves, right?
They build it themselves. Yes, they buy land and little by little. But property here is expensive. Yes. So until you hear it, but again, the point is, men need women, and the way it works here is that it's one budget. Your salary, whatever money you make, it doesn't matter if you work at McDonald's or a restaurant. If you make less money, it doesn't matter. It goes into one budget, and this is our money. So we're gonna pay bills, rent, school, transportation, food. Whatever is left is the money that we have to spend together as a family, and that's the difference. And
You've been on a panel with him, can't you?
With who?
You've been on, I seen her on there with him.
With him?
You think, yeah, because she said that one. She says the one part. That's what he says.
Well, it's he one pot. Yes, that's what it is. And I actually mentioned this before. I asked my brother-in-law, "Hey, do you believe in this? My money is your money, and her money is her money." And he said, "You know what? Yeah, because my money is her money, and her money is her money." And I was like, "Why?" He said, "Because whenever she has money, she uses it to buy the curtains for the house. She uses it for, the things that we need in the house. So everything is for them still. So he doesn't feel like she's actually using the money to buy clothes or overspend the money." And, so I could tell the difference.
Just a sidebar question. Y'all don't got condoms in El Salvador? Because 6 kids, like you said, somebody had 6 kids here. They don't sell condoms out there?
But they don't believe in that, right? You don't believe in that.
No, we do. My dad took accountability for it, and he said that my grandparents didn't taught him that. They were very traditional. My grandma had 6 kids, so
that's what we call it, traditional.
That's for sure. I mean, she was in the house with 5, 6 kids, 6 kids.
Well, my parents believe that too. They believe like however many kids God wanted them to have, they were gonna have. They weren't gonna limit God. So my mom had 5 pregnancies. She lost 2, and she ended up with 5 kids.
Once I seen how, we found out we were pregnant with our second, the 2 days before our wedding. Okay, like what? She's like, yeah, I took the pregnancy. What? So seeing how quick a woman could get pregnant after the first one, I was like, nah.
Oh yeah,
you did it.
I got snipped 7 days after my son's second birthday. Like, he healthy? He good? He breathing? No jaundice? Okay.
We're done. Wow, that's crazy.
No, it's
my
about
grandma
quality
had
of life.
13. My grandma had 13 kids.
It's too expensive to have kids. Like, I didn't grow up on like public assistance, nothing like. So I don't even think about that stuff. Like you know what I'm saying. So I'm like, okay, the quality of life we want to provide for these children. How can we do it? How best can we do it?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yep, I think we're gonna stop it too. And we had the boy and girl, like, so it's gonna be 3 stops. Exactly. I was like, I don't want for anything. Don't want for anything. So bye nuts.
Yeah, I had a boy and a girl. I got lucky, I guess.
Stop them.
But like just one person, just with one person, because I already have one, and I didn't plan to kind of like have more than one baby father. Or
so just go back to him. People do that all the time.
Yeah.
Just go back and be like, look, bro, let's make an arrangement.
Bye humanity.
No.
Bye humanity.
Bring
this is the thing. This is the thing.
And he probably won't say no either. He probably wouldn't say no either.
We have another pandemic here. Tyra, we have another pandemic here that's going on, other than COVID, where women get pregnant by a dude they claim to hate twice. So if you were here, you would definitely, humanity would, yeah.
No.
Now my father will kill me if I do that.
No. Saida, I feel the same way about my son's dad. I would never go back. Like, humanity, I'm so sorry for you. Bye-bye.
No, but it depends on the circumstances. That's why I said, like, my situation, no. Even you, if I say, you will say no. But again, people don't change. Remember, you said that people don't change. So.
Well, this has been a really awesome show. I don't think we've ever gone this long. Usually it's like we max out at 2 hours. So we've been going for like 3.5 hours. I really appreciate you coming on, Trigger Mike. I wasn't expecting you, but you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, I was just like, fun. Drop the link. I saw the title.
Yeah, and that was like the last question. And Jared was like, hey, Trigger Mike. I'm like, yeah, let him on. Absolutely. I love him. But I want to thank everyone for coming on. Thank you for popping on late. I will make sure you get the right time next time. I'm sorry about that.
You guys are in Central Time. I'm in Eastern, I believe.
Yes. Okay. Because I'm Eastern too, so I'll make sure you get my time.
Okay, perfect.
Sayed, I always love having you on. Thank you so much. Your perspectives are always appreciated. And it's thank you. You're always welcome to the show. I'm going to conclude. Does anybody have any final thoughts? Because I'm trying to be respectful. I know people have to get ready for the holidays, so. Yeah. And sleep. And it's, what is it, like 3 o'clock there in the morning?
Right now? No.
Yeah, what you doing up, man? Like go to sleep.
What
you doing?
This is my, I just finished my content creator studio. So this is basically what I'm doing now. And I actually was working, like I did them on Sierra's 90 days.
Yep.
And at the 90 days, instead of me asking for some, I said, you know what? I'm gonna find me another woman to do 90 days with, because I just couldn't take it. I just walked away. The money was good and everything, but I just walked away. So I got my content creation space together. This summer, I'm about to change the game. Like with like you guys probably don't follow the world of pro cycling, but I'm in Europe, and I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm just right now. I'm really hyped. I'm really stoked about like basically what's about to happen, and it's about to be massive. It may not be US, but it's going to be massive over here.
So we need to keep our eye on you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a journey. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna be all over Europe and all over that in that Italian country with the woman prime minister that doesn't want black people there. So.
Okay. And when we come to visit, you'll have to give us a tour.
Yeah, if you can find me, whichever part of Europe I might be in. So yeah,
we'll be there next year.
Facts.
So, but yeah,
it was a pleasure. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm thinking we're back Wednesday next week. So whoever is available, I would love to have everyone that's here back on.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Okay, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for everyone for watching. Definitely subscribe to the channel. I know this is JR's new channel, so subscribe and be prepared for more content with Bridging the Gap next week.
Actually, message is Robinson.
Oh, and for everyone, Trigger Mike's information is in the back chat. He put it in there if you want to contact him about the gun range, the shooting range. Okay. All right. Bye. See you next week.